Hello, everyone, and welcome to the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series. It's Murph. It's Caleb Brashear. It's the Bash Brothers. We are live from the virtual Monster Mile. Caleb, it's been a journey to get here. We've got server troubles. We've got iRacing troubles. We've also got a race, brother.
Yes, we do indeed. It's the Monster Mile, as you said, 1 mile of pure concrete. And I hear they got some gambling here, Murph, that I'm especially looking forward to. Unfortunately, we can't access the horse track and casino in the infield here, Murph, and that's kind of a disappointment a little bit in the sim. They should allow us to go into the horse track in the sim here.
You know, that's a great point. So this track, you see the smaller oval in the middle. That's a horse track. That's covered over for the car races, of course. You see the glassed-in portion on the backstretch with the hotel next to it. That's a casino, and this is a dual-use facility. Unlike the IndyCar track that was located in Cicero, Illinois, on the side of the Hawthorne race course, the horse track is contained inside the race car track here at Dover. Those two tracks were built back to back, and this is kind of one of the first, well, it really was the first facility that featured on-site gambling at a motorsport track. Of course, there's a casino now outside of Kansas Speedway, and you're starting to see that a little bit more and more. But in truth, this was really the first one, Caleb, and it's a unique track in that it is concrete, and it is very, very unique in the way you get on pit road, isn't it?
Yes, it is indeed. It's a bit tricky. You kind of have to dive in the middle of 3 and 4. At least that's the most efficient way to get there. And it's very easy to get really, really loose on pit entry with how you brake here. It's a very, very tight corner on the flat part. So pit entry is a bit tricky here, but I guess that's not the only thing that's tricky. This track in general is very, very tricky. It likes to understeer in the middle and entry of the corners, and all of a sudden it likes to get really, really loose on exit.
Yeah, it does. And one of the things you'll kind of notice about this track, they call it self-cleaning, and what we mean by self-cleaning is everything spins to the bottom, and so if you can dodge an accident, you're going to want to do that on the high side. This track has been a staple on the NASCAR schedule. It was first opened in 1969 in Dover, Delaware, and it's really one of those tracks that serves the entire Northeast. It's not very far from Baltimore. It's not very far from Philly. It's not really all that far from New York City either, and so this track has been really had 2 races on the NASCAR Cup calendar for as long as anyone can more or less remember. It was originally owned by the people that owned the horse track, and then they were separated as business entities in 2001. Dover Motorsports rather, then went on to basically try to become a racetrack conglomerate. Caleb, very similar to Speedway Motorsports or NASCAR through the racetrack owning arm. They owned at one point. They owned Gateway, Nashville, Memphis Motorsports Park. The Long Beach Grand Prix was under their umbrella for a while. Eventually, though, attendance troubles began to hit, and you can kind of tell that because the upper parts of the grandstands and the turns remain, but the bottom have been removed and covered with billboards, and so you get that kind of floating crowd thing you get at Homestead a little bit. The track was then sold to Speedway Motorsports, so they outfit out of Charlotte, that owns Charlotte, Texas, Atlanta, Bristol, and Sonoma. The track records here are these. The NASCAR Grand National track record, 23.261. That is held by Jesse Love, and if practice is any indication, we are pretty much going to shatter that tonight. The overall track record, you want to hazard a guess at that, Caleb?
Well, I do know IndyCar raced exactly. I think they raced her 3 times. I believe they raced her back in the old USAC days. But I did know with the IRL, they did race in the late 90s. I think 2 or 3 times, Murph. I think it might have been only twice. And I can imagine it's somewhere in a sub 20 second lap time here.
So 1969, they did run a one-off USAC open wheel event. Art Pollard won that one. In 1998, the Indy cars came back, and they left after 1999. Poor attendance was the main reason, but if you go back and watch those races, Caleb, they were interesting. This track is way, way too rough to run modern open wheel cars on. The track record outright is held by Greg Ray in the 1998 Pep Boys 400K, 19.622. So oddly enough, really only about 3 seconds quicker. You would expect it to be a much bigger gulf, but because it is so rough, the Indy cars weren't really able to go much faster here.
Yeah, and not to go against the IRL. I imagine they'd be a little bit faster with the kart back then, but even then, this track is so rough, and you don't really feel that in the stock cars as much. But whenever we did the IR18s around here in the fixed series, you always felt the bumps, and it was very, very jolting with how those cars navigated this place. You don't really feel the bumps, but they do have an effect to a certain degree in terms of how they handle, at least on the bottom side of the track. As you get up towards the top, it's a lot less prevalent, but it's still going to catch some drivers out as they get more into their tires. They're going to wear out that right rear, and it could catch some of those drivers out here today.
You know, it most certainly could. To talk about the format for tonight's race, we're going to do 200 laps, 200 miles. 45 and 90 are the stages. How many sets of tires do they have on pit road tonight, Caleb?
They got 4 sets of tires total, so 3 over the wall, as we've been running for the past couple weeks here. So we should see end of stage 1 and stage 2, and a third one used in the middle of stage number 3. So I that's basically how our tire sets is going to work here tonight.
There you go. We're gonna pull up some speeds here, Caleb. Any guesses as to who's fastest in practice?
Well, you got the old classic Ryan O'Donohue. Usually tops the practice and queue times here in both AMA series and the Grand National and the Truck Series. I'm going to take a gander. It's probably going to be him here tonight.
Yeah, it is Ryan O'Donohue. He is atop the board. Riley Lean second. Franco Alvarez third. Followed by Alan Steigerwalt and Trevor Ryan, your top 5. Even with the server troubles, and this is a huge credit to Kendall Paul, the staff here at the AMA. Even with the server troubles, they've managed to get pretty much everybody who wanted to be in this race tonight into the server. There's kind of a back door to get in. And that is essentially, if you know one person, when the registration system went dark, if you know one person who is in the service or in the race server and you are friends with them in iRacing, there's a mechanism that you can join their session, and that is how the majority of this field got in here. That's how I got in here. Caleb Brashear was already here. I arrived about half an hour ago, picked up my son from swim practice, and went, I can't get in. I was able to join off of Caleb. That's why you will see the 001 in the scoring pylon. That is me. I am not racing, but that was really the only way that I could get into the server tonight. And so that's the way that most of these drivers have done. And the good news is everybody who wanted to get in is in, and we're watching Kendall Paul roll away for qualifying, Caleb. He is in his familiar Outland Custom Arms Archway Industrial Coatings Ford Mustang. There he goes. We'll jump on board Kendall Paul. We'll get the telemetry up and let everybody take a ride. You can kind of see from the driver's seat, Caleb, just how low the apron is, and you actually drive downhill to get on pit road here too.
Yeah, that's one of the tricky parts about Dover, is that this entire track is banked. 24 degrees of banking in the corners, 9 degrees on the straightaways, and you described it as a self-clearing track. Well, that's the reason why. The track gravity will take the cars down whenever we get these big ruts. But on board with Kendall Paul, you can see he's kind of riding that middle line. He'll be curious to see if this is a warm-up lap or a push lap. I'm going to guess this is probably a warm-up lap, and the second time around, as he gets really, really close to that wall, is going to be the go time.
Yes, he does. Something else you're going to notice is that the wall wants to reach up and smack the cars as they come off of these corners. You ideally want to exit the turns as low as possible because the outside wall on exit is very abrupt. And you see Kendall Paul, he's wrapping that bottom first lap, 8th quick, second lap upcoming. Second lap is traditionally the faster one, and Kendall across the line, 23.349, and that'll put him 4th quick. Let's find somebody else. How about David Dunwoody? We've been trying to get him on TV for a while, Caleb. And there's the Moza entry for David Dunwoody, Blackmagic Studios, of course, the proprietor there. Dunwoody will pull it up on the track, and we'll ride on board with him. Kind of compare and contrast the notes from Dunwoody and Kendall Paul.
Yeah, you can see very similar outlaps here, kind of riding that second lane from the wall there. He kind of rides a little bit of the middle. Yeah, exactly in the middle now, going through 1 and 2. Cuts it down hard on the exit, though. And you'll kind of see that actually in the race. You'll see a lot of drivers kind of get it wide in on entry and then nail the bottom of the corner on exit. And you kind of see that with Dunwoody and the way he did in 1 and 2. We'll see what his lap time is. It's a 24.1, so this lap should be his push lap. He rides that bottom, hugs that bottom line. He gets very nicely off exit. This is going to be a quick time for David.
Yeah, that car looks a lot more stable than did the automobile for Kendall Paul, and he is right around the bottom of the track. Dunwoody will exit turn 4. Big handful of wheel on exit. Across the line, 23.529, and that's going to put him 11th quick for David Dunwoody as you see him roll his machine to a stop. Last car out is going to be Joshua Siegfried, and there he goes in the TeamConti.gg machine. And so we'll watch from the outside of Siegfried's car and give you kind of an example of what it looks like from without. This track, the other thing that I wanted to mention, Caleb, it looks nice and wide from on TV. But I assure you, and the fans at home got a glimpse of that when we were riding on board with some of these drivers. It is very narrow.
Yeah, it is, and I like to compare this track to basically double-sized Bristol. If you kind of get what I'm saying, it feels like Bristol in a lot of ways, to where the entire track is banked. It's made of concrete. It races. The racing lines and the speeds you're able to carry are very, very similar. It's just this is double the length, so it feels a lot bigger than Bristol, but it races very, very similar in terms of how you handle around here. Joshua Siegfried, a 23.4 on his first lap. He did do a 23.3 in practice. We'll see what the second time is as he navigates turns 3 and 4. Gets really close to the exit of the apex. This is going to be a quick time. 23.338. That's going to put him 6 on the board.
It will put Joshua Siegfried 6 on the board, and with 6 seconds left in the qualifying session, there is nobody else left to run, and that Simshop Pole Award has been claimed by Riley Lean. So Riley Lean beats out Ryan O'Donohue for the Simshop Pole Award, and you see the weather change. That's something that we're going to talk about here in just a minute too, because track being concrete, it's a little bit different with the weather. But we've got a grid, Caleb. On the pole, it's Riley Lean. His time, his speed, 157.605 miles an hour. Ryan O'Donohue will start his outside. James Hodgson, the forward-facing 88, great qualifying run for him. He'll roll from second. Trevor Ryan will start from 4. Sam Crow, Joshua Siegfried, row 3. Kendall Paul, Mark Paget, row 4. And Say Hey Lewis Hayes, Crash Neon will make up row 5. Rick Fallis will start from the 11th spot. He's next to David Dunwoody in 12th. Then John Hutchins, Troy Carricker, Colby Pierce, Joshua Zorn, Christian Light, Alan Steigerwalt, Franco Alvarez, and Brian Sharp to round out your top 20. 21st, Randy Dunlap. Eric Corder will start 22nd. Andrew Gates 23rd. Donald Green 24th. Michael Kurt, the last car to take time, nearly, he's going to be nearly 7 miles an hour slower than the sharp end of the field. I am not racing, so the rest of these cars are lined up by iRating. You'll have Justin Osterman, Ted Craven, Christopher Logan, and Raymond White to round out your 29-car field. Again, the 001 is the broadcast team because, well, Caleb, that was the only way we could get in.
Yeah, a bit of iRacing technical difficulties. The entire service, the UI for both not only leagues but official sessions, is having a refresh right before this session started. Thankfully, we were able to figure out a solution. We still got a massive pack of 29 drivers here tonight, so we were able to find a workaround to get every driver into this session. So it did cost a little bit of practice time, but we have a massive grid here, which considering about an hour ago we were kind of freaking out a little bit. It's glad to see we were able to come up with a solution and able to get this race underway. Yeah, and
that's a credit to Kendall Paul and the administrative staff here at the AMA. They were able to get a really nice sized field in here, even with iRacing basically being down from a registration standpoint. Again, kind of working the back doors and the alternate ways. They were able to get it done. The pace car is about to be done. They're going to pull that thing off the track. The field under control of Riley Lean. Barney's got the green flag in hand, and we are down and away 200 laps at Dover, Delaware in the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series.
Green flag is out. Ryan O'Donohue on the outside. Got a very good jump on Riley Lean on the bottom. They go side by side through the exit, turn 2 onto the back straightaway. Ryan O'Donohue's got a little bit of the edge, but Riley Lean's got the inside line. They are 2 by 2 by 2 all the way through the field here, Murph. We got briefly 3 wide all the way in the back here. This is close action. Riley Lean really loose.
Yeah, Riley Lean just about spun that number 26. He's going to fall in line in second. O'Donohue has the lead. We're going to get back here into about the 7th spot because Kendall Paul is looking on Joshua Siegfried. They are now single file all the way back to 15th. Rick Fallis under fire from the 87 of Alan Steigerwalt. They got Joshua Zorn back behind them. Rick D in the Marty Robbins special looking to fend off Joshua Zorn. And meanwhile, John Hutchins just about spun his car out. He's got Colby Pierce to the outside. That's a battle for 13th.
Yeah, it's fairly single file, but you're seeing a lot of passes on track here early, and you're seeing a lot of drivers. As I said in the qualifying session, the car feels very, very tight in the entry and apex of the corner, and then all of a sudden on exit it gets really, really loose, and you're starting to see that with a lot of these drivers trying to figure out the both ends of the track here to where you got to manage of how tight it is, but also how loose it is on exit.
Yeah, you really do. We're watching James Hutchins as he works on Troy Carricker now. That'd be the battle for 12th. Everything has more or less stabilized out now. If you look, if we get up, well, maybe that wasn't the best shot, but you see him come through. They're battling back in the back. Right around.
All right, man.
Caution.
Caution's out.
And that is the number 1, the teddy bear, Ted Craven. You've got Michael Kirk also slow. Christian Light had to start from the pit lane, and that might have saved him. Let's go back in the Wayback Machine and see what's happened to Ted Craven here. We're going to see this a lot. Michael Kirk comes off a 2. He nails the outside wall, bounces off, and bounces right into Ted Craven. And there's nothing Ted Craven could have done there. He takes the hit, bounces up into the outside wall, and those two will bring out the first admin box caution flag in tonight's event. Tonight's race, by the way, is called the National Police Week 200. To honor all of the police officers out in the United States. It is National Police Week, and so we definitely want to thank them for their service. And a tip of the cap, Mr. Brashear, goes out to them. We're not going to see any pit stops here in this one, are we? Unless you got damage?
Unless you got damage, of course. And I imagine Ted Craven is coming down pit lane, as well as Andrew Gates are both going to come down pit lane, but everybody else is staying out. We're only on lap number 7. The only reason you would maybe top up on fuel, but yeah, pretty much everybody is going to stay out at this point. And I did want to ask Murph, you're technically registered in this session. Do you get any points for starting this race here technically?
I am sure that those will be deleted just about as soon as Kendall Paul gets access to it. I don't know that I would get points because I never qualified and I never turned a lap, and so
you might get a participation trophy though.
I've got plenty of those. I'll just throw that in the garbage right next to the rest of them. Ryan O'Donohue is your leader from Riley Lean, and for Lean, this is a chance to get some redemption. He started on the pole, racing hard with Ryan O'Donohue, just about lost that car coming off of turn 4 on lap 2. That allowed Ryan O'Donohue to squirt into the lead, and so O'Donohue is your leader. We do want to thank our series sponsor, Outland Custom Arms. At Outland Custom Arms, our mission is to provide hunters and outdoor sportsmen with precision-crafted firearms rooted in Oregon's rugged legacy. Every build is hand-tuned for performance, reliability, and the uncompromising pursuit of the perfect shot. That is Outland Custom Arms. You are watching the National Police Week 200 live on the P1 Broadcasting channel. You've got Murph, you've got Caleb Brashear with you. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel so that you can get in on all of the iRacing fun. It's Indy Week. Tomorrow night we'll be back with the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series, same time. And then a really big one. It's the top split time slot number 1 of the iRacing.com Indianapolis 500. You can catch that right here on P1 or any of iRacing socials. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a little bit. Pace car is off.
Green, green, green.
Green is out. Ryan O'Donohue launches. He spun the rear tires, but so did Riley Lean. And Riley Lean is going to face some trouble here in the form of Trevor Ryan and James Hodgson. Now Lean gets away. It's Hodgson and Ryan battling for the third spot. 2x2 they go. Behind him, Sam Crow and Joshua Siegfried.
Yeah, 2x2 we see out in front. Trevor Ryan trying to use that high line to work. James Hodgson getting the run on the bottom, though, is still 2x2 behind our first 2 cars out in front, but it looks like Trevor Ryan has the position. He uses that high side and is able to clear James Hodgson on the bottom. Now that allows Joshua Siegfried on the outside there to try and make a run on James Hodgson. He's side by side with both him and Sam Crow. Sam started in the 5th place position. He's trying to get back inside the top 5 here, but these guys still going at it for about 3 or 4 laps here right off the restart.
Yeah, and you mentioned this track raced a lot like Bristol, and welcome in Mike Rigney to the broadcast. You mentioned that that this track races a lot like Bristol. It can be very much a freight train affair. There really is only one groove around here, and if you're Joshua Siegfried, you get up in that high line, you are not going to make progress. James Hodgson has the bottom, has it secured. Siegfried trying to fight back on the outside, but Hodgson just continues to inch forward bit over bit. And just as I say that, Siegfried is able to get the position. But traditionally it's a one-groove racetrack, Caleb. You're not really able to fight 2x2, at least for very long, are you?
No, you're not. But as we see a 2x2 battle for the lead, Riley Lean gets around Ryan O'Donoghue, and that allows Trevor Ryan to make his way onto the back of the leaders here. Riley Lean round the outside of Ryan O'Donoghue, gets the position.
He does, and that's going to put Trevor Ryan to the bottom of Ryan O'Donoghue. Trevor Ryan looking to get that second spot from the early leader, and he'll do so. And now Joshua Siegfried has that number 99 wound up, and he's looking on Ryan O'Donoghue for third.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if Ryan O'Donoghue spinning those tires on that restart really kind of hurt him there. He's starting to fall back through the pack right now. Dover doesn't wear tires as much out as, say, the short tracks. I'd say you could go pretty long on the stick here on a set of tires. Caution is out here at Dover.
Eric Corder has pounded the wall along the backstretch, and we're gonna get right on showing you the replay of that accident. The admin box caution is back out here at Dover. The 79 has found the cement. The reason that I brought the weather graphic up, 76 in the air, 91 on the track. It's concrete, and so it does not hold heat nearly like an asphalt track does, and so for that reason, it doesn't tend to wear the tires too awful much. And there you have it. Quarter came off turn 4, and well, Donald Green was in the spot on the racetrack that the 79 wanted to occupy, and then at the very end, Ted Craven comes through and just can't miss it. Here's Ted Craven. And look, Ted did the right thing. We described the track as self-cleaning. He went high, but unfortunately Quarter had already pounded the inside wall, and there's additional contact for the teddy bear, Ted Craven, although he should be able to get on the pit road and get that automobile fixed. But just a rough opening stanza for the teddy bear, Ted Craven.
Yeah, just one of those races. Already getting into a few incidents here, but thankfully he doesn't have race-ending damage per se, so he could still climb a few positions if he's able to keep that car back out on track. Comes down pit lane, get that damage repaired. But we were talking about briefly before the caution came out how this track races like Bristol in a way, just double the size. And we were also talking a little bit about tire wear. It doesn't really wear tires as a normal short track. This is a mile long track, so it by definition it is not a short track, but it feels like one in a way. But it doesn't really wear tires as bad as, say, like a mile and a half or some of the cookie cutters like Chicagoland or Kansas.
No, it doesn't. The other thing that kind of helps with that is the banking, and not just the banking in the corners, but the banking in the straightaways as well. Most tracks, yes, they'll have significant banking in the corners. Think Kansas is the example you use, but the straightaways at Kansas are mostly flat. Here, the straightaways are banked pretty severely. It's 24 degrees in the corners, but it's 9 degrees on the straights. Most racetracks, the straightaways are either flat or they might be a degree or two. For reference as to how much banking that is, the corners at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway are banked at 9 degrees. Right, so there's a significant amount of banking to catch these cars when they come off of these high bank turns, and that really does save a lot, especially on the right front, which normally at a track like this, the right front would be screaming, but here it's not really so much of an issue because of the extra banking on the straightaways.
No, it's not. Pace car lights are out. Riley Lean is going to lead them off with Trevor Ryan on his outside. Ryan O'Donoghue slots himself into third. This is going to be an interesting restart. Ryan O'Donoghue starting from that second row, but is on the inside here.
He is indeed. Ryan O'Donoghue is third. Now remember, O'Donoghue should have a slight advantage over Trevor Ryan when they get to restart just because Ryan has to wait for Riley Lean to go in the restart zone, and that usually gives the guy in third a little bit of an advantage. Pace car is off. Green flag is out, and away we go, Caleb. We're going to try to get this baby started proper. 18 complete. Riley Lean jumps out in the lead, and Ryan O'Donohue slides to the bottom of Trevor Ryan, and he'll reclaim that second spot.
Yeah, the Joshua safety. We got a spinner in 1 and 2.
Caution is out.
Caution is out. Again.
Mark Paget is involved. Ted Craven has pulled to a stop on the Speedway. Donald Green is involved. And so we'll see exactly what's going on here. You're looking at the 22 of Mark Paget. He's on the bottom, and there's a huge concertina effect started with Troy Carricker, and even in front of him, Joshua Zorn slams on the brakes, gets tagged. Around goes Paget, and Donald Green clouts him right in the back to finish off the accident. And let's get the bird's eye view, or the driver's eye view here from Donald Green. There you see the accident develop. Boom. And another hard impact for Donald Green. You see that machine slide up the racetrack. Caution back out on the Speedway. The meatball for Mark Paget once again under the admin box caution with 20 laps complete, coming to get lap 21 here at Dover. Again, do want to thank everybody for joining in. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel so that you too can get in on all of the iRacing fun. We've got the trucks here tomorrow night for the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series, and the big one, 9 o'clock tomorrow night. Split one time slot number 1 for the iRacing Indianapolis 500. Open setups. That's going to be a dandy. You're hanging on to that one by a thread, brother.
Yeah, it's Indy weekend for us IndyCar guys. It's the one race we all collectively, we're looking forward to, but it's a bit of a grind. So, last time I checked, I was inside the top 33. There has been another Q session that went live, so I'm sure I probably bumped down a place or two since that last Q session. But I'm looking forward to race this week.
Yeah, it's the one race that it's one of those very few within iRacing that pretty much every driver wants to have on their resume. If you can hang up an iRacing Indianapolis 500 Open split number 1 banner next to your rig, that's a huge deal, and everybody wants one of those. I've got one. I know you want one. There's a community of roughly, I'd say there's probably a couple hundred people that have put in dozens of qualifying efforts by now. There's a fierce duel for the pole going on between about 6 or 7 guys, and there is a massive scrap to get into that top 33. To give the fans out here an example, I am currently 66th on the board. My broadcast partner on Tuesday night, I'm going to throw him under the bus, Andrew Wood, is 42nd, and there is less than 20 thousandths of a second over 4 laps between us. For me to get in the show, we're talking about less than half a tenth. Kevin Burrell just knocked you back to 34th. So Kevin Burrell now on the bubble, but that's something that we're going to be looking at all night. Riley Lean has the inside here. He'll restart. 22 complete. 23 about to go on the board. Critically, Trevor Ryan did not get a good jump that time, and Sam Crow immediately started to challenge. He was not able to get there. And look at the man on the move is Crash Neon. He's pulled his machine to the outside of James Hodgson, and David Dunwoody is coming with him.
Yeah, he's using that outside line. It seems like he's trying to use that outside to try to get a run down the straightaway. They're 2x2, about 4 rows back behind Sam Crow, and they're still side by side. It's now 2x2 just in front of, just behind Sam Crow. And this is getting very, very dicey as we go into turn number 3. Crash Neon's going to have to yield to James Hodgson. Kendall Paul is still side by side with David Dunwoody on his outside. David Dunwoody get a little bit loose on exit, and it looks like he is able to clear Kendall on the inside there.
But here comes Kendall Paul right back on the bottom. Dunwoody did not pull in front, and Dunwoody smacks the wall, but he gets the position, move David Dunwoody to 7th. Kendall Paul back to 8th. Crash Neon has claimed 6th. James Hodgson to 5th, and we have got a battle for the lead. Ryan O'Donoghue around the outside. Can't quite make it stick, and that might cost him 2nd. No. Ryan O'Donoghue will pull back in front of Trevor Ryan. So Lean, O'Donoghue, and Ryan at the front of this field. But this battle is not over, Caleb.
No, it's not. It looks like Ryan O'Donoghue found some life in those Goodyear tires there. It seemed like he was fading a little bit at the conclusion of when the first caution came out. And it looks like he's climbed his way back up towards the front with a little bit, getting the tires cool. Gets very, very close to the outside wall on the corner exit. It seems like his tires are still just a little bit too worn at the moment compared to everybody else.
Maybe just a little bit too much watching from the P1 drone cam. Thank you to Whiplash Sim Cams for these wonderful pictures. O'Donoghue, he just can't quite hug the bottom nearly as tightly as he wants to, Caleb. And that's opening the door. It's opened the door for Trevor Ryan.
Trevor Ryan looking up the inside. He's fully alongside. Gets a little bit loose on the corner exit, but he's still got a fender on Ryan O'Donoghue. Sends it on the inside. Clears him at the apex. Ryan O'Donoghue might be able to get a cutback going, but he is finally in line. Trevor Ryan up into the 2nd place position, and Ryan O'Donoghue slots back into 3rd.
They will sort out that way. Looking a little bit deeper in the field. David Dunwoody, John Hutchins, Franco Alvarez, we got a caution. We're going to have a caution. Big mess on the front straightaway. Caution is out. Say hey, Lewis Hayes. Alan Stegerwald involved. The 72 takes a hit. It's John Hutchins. Multi-car crash at lap 30 of 200. Caution is back on the speedway, and we saw that one coming, Caleb.
Yeah, I was looking back there at that group. It was getting very, very dicey, and it was just a matter of time before an incident happened. As we get a look here to see what happened coming off turn number 4.
Yeah, John Hutchins kind of, I don't know if he thought he was clear, but he wasn't clear. He came up a little bit into Franco Alvarez, and from there it was on. You see Colby Pierce get tagged. Justin Osterman, say hey, Lewis Hayes, Alan Stegerwalt, all pile in. Somehow, Troy Carricker avoided what became a 4-car accident, and we've got to go back. Osterman, Hutchins, and Pierce all have received the meatball that they must respect. And here it is from the seat of Troy Carricker. He is right behind Franco Alvarez, and this is going to be an interesting watch, Caleb. There's the contact. It almost looks a little bit like netcode. Carricker might have gotten in the back of Alvarez just a little bit, but he doesn't take a huge lick, and then he's just going to slide right on by there. Huge impact, Colby Pierce. That's I'd say that's job done for Troy Carricker. For Colby Pierce, this is what that looks like at half speed from his driver's eye. Stegerwalt with a black flag. That's going to be exiting a closed pit. He's trying to stay on the lead lap, or entering a closed pit, rather. There's the contact. Watch this hit. He's going to get turned. Boom. And that's how violent these impacts are here at Dover, Caleb. If you hit here, it is absolutely vicious.
Yes, it is indeed, and the track kind of self-cleared there, but these hits you get And these accidents are very, very violent with this speed you're carrying.
Well, and not only that, but the entirety of the exterior and interior of Dover are ringed with safer barriers for good reason. When those things were concrete, they would routinely injure drivers. But one of the side effects of having the safer barrier, when you got a wall that gives, well, it gives back sometimes. So you'll see a lot more. You'll see the cars bounce away, and that's good. That's saving the drivers from being injured in real life, but it does tend to close the track rather quickly, which is what we saw there. 32 of 200 complete, working lap 33. Do want to thank everybody for tuning it in. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel so that you can get in on all of the iRacing fun. We're back tomorrow with the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series. We've got the iRacing Indianapolis 500 set for 9 o'clock tomorrow. Mercifully, Saturday, Caleb, we've all got the day off. Sunday night, it is the votive round from California, and that's going to be a wonderful break at 8 o'clock. That's going to be a wonderful break for us because it is not the rectangle.
Oh, it's not.
Hey,
no, it is not, Murph.
It could have been the rectangle had Ontario still been there. So, you know, it could have been that, right?
Whatever you say, Murph. Pace car is in. Riley leaning. Trevor Ryan on the front row going to lead them away. The start
Green
lap
flag,
number
green
34.
flag.
Green flag is out back here at Dover. Riley gets out to about 2-car length advantage. Ryan O'Donoghue slots himself back into that second place position. Trevor Ryan back into third, and we got a little bit side-by-side by James Hodgson and Kendall Paul. Kendall trying to make that outside work, really high line there. Almost got up into the wall there in the middle of 3 and 4, and he looks like he's going to slot himself back inside the top 5. He hasn't been here all day. He kind of was riding around just inside the top 10. Now is inside the top 5, and now looks on the back bumper of Sam Crow.
Kendall Paul riding a rocket here at the end of this first stage. He's looking to get himself some stage points. He knows he's chasing Ryan O'Donoghue for the Ryan O'Donoghue and Greg Evans. Greg Evans not here this evening, and so really it's an opportunity for these guys to make up some points. He's got Sam Crow above him. Does Kendall Paul. He's got the bottom now on Sam, and we'll see if Kendall Paul can get clear. He does.
Yeah, Kendall Paul just able to clear Sam Crow. Trevor Ryan, meanwhile, out in front, all over the rear bumper. Ryan O'Donoghue. O'Donoghue still kind of dropping back to Riley Lean. Riley seems to be the fastest car on track at the moment, and Trevor Ryan's trying to get around O'Donoghue, trying to make that bottom work. O'Donoghue kind of holding that second to third line in the middle of the corners and just getting the run off the exits to just build a gap over Trevor Ryan, and that's preventing him from getting a fender alongside.
Yeah, that you mentioned Trevor Ryan, fastest car on the track. He was 2/10 quicker than the 2 cars in front of him 2 laps ago, but he had a massive checkup when he got to the back of Ryan O'Donoghue. That slowed his forward progress. It's Riley Lean, Ryan O'Donoghue, and Trevor Ryan. That's a lot of R's at the front of this field, Caleb. 39 now of 200 is what we're working. The laps here can go pretty quick if you can get some green flag runs. They can go pretty doggone quick here at Dover. So, you know, you'll look up and say, man, that's I didn't expect we were that deep in the stage already. But you get going, it gets going. Ryan O'Donoghue drops to the bottom of Riley Lean trying to take the lead.
Yeah, and he's got Trevor Ryan all over his rear bumper, too. Trevor Ryan giving it a little bit of a bump. They go side by side down the backstretch. Ryan O'Donoghue looking up the inside. Trevor Ryan still right there, right behind him. Riley Lean, I don't believe there was contact, but Ryan O'Donoghue slots himself back into first place. Trevor Ryan also getting around Riley Lean, and he slots himself into second, and Ryan O'Donoghue takes the lead with about 5 to go left in the stage.
Yeah, and that was all set up a couple of laps before that. When they got side by side, Riley Lean clocked the wall getting off of turn number 4, and that allowed Ryan O'Donoghue to get past and it killed his momentum enough that Trevor Ryan was able to squirt through. And so it's now O'Donohue, Ryan, and Lean, your top three. Critically, Kendall Paul
All right, man.
is
Caution is
behind
out.
them, and he
Caution
is
is out.
coming. Caution is out. Joshua Siegfried. And that number 99 has been shortened quite a bit at the front. He is racing along with Andrew Gates, and there's contact, and that is a hard lick. He's gonna get hit by Franco Alvarez on the way by as well. That's going to be the caution. That's going to be the stage for the National Police Week 200. So stage 1 will conclude under caution. Can we confirm that, Caleb?
Yes, it will indeed here, Murph. The stage will end under caution. Ryan O'Donohue, as long as he decides not to pit at the last second, will be your stage winner. Trevor Ryan second, Riley Lean in third. I did want to also point out, I was looking at the replay, it does appear that Joshua Siegfried has a blown motor from that accident. Also with blown motors was Colby Pierce and John Hutchins from the earlier incident. So those guys are definitely out of the race. Ted Craven and Steigerwald are still out on track, but they are also multiple laps down.
Yeah, attrition is starting to play a role here. Justin Osterman, John Hutchins, Colby Pierce, Eric Corder have all retired. Joshua Siegfried, you saw the smoke. He will not be getting back into this one. Significant repair underway for Christopher Logan. He is on the pit lane, already 15 laps down. Michael Kirk, 21 laps down, is still circulating as we see Mark Paget get himself back on the lead lap. But there are already, you mentioned Steigerwald and Craven. Craven back on the pit lane for additional repair. Alan Steigerwald has been in his box for 3 minutes. And so let's have a look at Alan Steigerwald. There's no smoke pouring out of that 87. So possible he could get it fixed, but he is there for a while. Franco Alvarez with significant damage. There's his 41 in his pit stall. Say Lewis Hayes has maintained a position on the lead lap, and he's trying to get that Grease Monkey special fixed because he'd like to be able to go racing at some point tonight, but he's going to need more repair, Caleb. That one, the nose of that 43 is definitely has definitely taken a whack, but he's still on the lead lap, man. Anything can happen. You stay on the lead lap, right?
Yeah, it is indeed. Lewis Hayes kind of running the old Intimidator special there with the Grease Monkey special in replacement of Good Wrench, but running a Intimidator style, but it's got a bit of damage on the front end, and Lewis Hayes hasn't he started on the 10th place position, but has kind of fallen back a little bit throughout the duration of this first stage. And unfortunately, he's got a bit of damage to add along with it. So he's going to need a little bit of a comeback here, Murph.
Yeah, he is. But the good news is for Say Hey Lewis Hayes, he's you're going to get at least one more stage caution. So there's ample time to work on that car. I imagine he'll bring it back down to pit lane. I imagine he will continue to bring it down to pit lane as long as we are under yellow. And it takes about 30 seconds to traverse the pit lane here. It's about 1:20 a lap under the caution. So you can reasonably get 45, 50 seconds a hit fixed in there. Take advantage. It might be a 3 or 4 minute repair, but look, why not? Say Lewis Hayes, Franco Alvarez, they're bringing him back down pit road now. Mark Paget, who got back on the lead lap, is already a lap down, and he's just saying, look, I'm going to stay here and fix it. I'll go the lap down. And that is a choice. You can most certainly do that.
Yeah, it is. And what's important about that is that he would be the lucky dog as long as he doesn't go an additional 3 laps behind that.
Yeah, and that's part of the calculus. You know, if you're Paget, you're saying, look, I can go 1 down. That's not going to bother me because I'll be the lucky dog when the next yellow comes out. So you can afford to go a lap down, get it all fixed. 1:40, and he is down and away. And I would imagine that means that he has gotten everything. He's gotten everything fixed. You see, Hey Lewis Hayes coming off a pit road. Ryan O'Donoghue. Well, he's coming to the attention of his crew, and he'll be the second pit stall rather. Well, that's Alvarez coming out. But you see the field. Everybody else is streaming down the pit lane, Caleb.
Yeah, everybody's going to take a set of Goodyear tires, top up on fuel. We'll see who is the best off of pit lane. We had a very close battle of the lead between the names that all start with an R: Ryan O'Donoghue, Trevor Ryan, Riley Lean. We'll see who is able to come out in front off pit exit. Here's be Trevor Ryan.
They did. See the cars come around the garage. Trevor Ryan is going to be your leader from Ryan O'Donoghue and Riley Lean. Randy Dunlap stayed out. So Randy Dunlap, and we'll give Randy his due. There he is. The Outland Custom Arms No Pass Media Machine, the number 38 black gold chrome on his car. He's going to stay out and lead a lap, and we'll be glad to give him the TV time. We do want to congratulate Ryan O'Donoghue for the win in Track Racer Stage Break number 1. If you go to trackracer.com and you put in the promo code that's going to be in the chat, 5% of your order does go into the AMA year-end prize pool. And Randy Dunlap, critically, I think he'd been to pit lane previously, but I think he also requested an EOL, so he is requested to be put at the end of the longest line. He led his lap, though, Caleb.
Yeah, he does. That's some points there, Murph. That's some important points there.
He did. Do want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel so that you can get in on all of the iRacing fun. I know that there's been some server issues with iRacing tonight. I also know that there have been some internet issues at large. I just tried to look at ESPN.com to check the score of the Braves game, and I couldn't get in. So there could be some additional issues hitting. Viewership went to 0 for a few moments on YouTube as well, and that would be very abnormal for us. And so we realize that there are probably internet problems out there. Meanwhile, we're back to green. Trevor Ryan gets the advantage on the start. Ryan O'Donoghue critically got a pretty good restart, but I don't think it's going to be enough to hold off Riley Lean to the inside, and Kendall Paul is right there. Kendall Paul was 2 to 3 tenths a lap faster than the leaders after that last. As we approached that stage caution, had it run to its conclusion, I don't know that Kendall Paul might not have had a crack to win it. Meanwhile, James Hodgson and Crash Neon are going after it right behind them for the 5th and 6th spot. Hodgson's going to come off the winner there. And Kendall Paul goes to work on Riley Lean.
Yeah, Kendall Paul showing a bit of speed here early in the stage. Ryan O'Donoghue getting very, very squirrely right in front of him. Kendall Paul had to check up just a little bit, not to run into the back of O'Donoghue there. But it seems as though Ryan O'Donoghue is trying to save his tires just a little bit after learning from last stage. Okay, he kind of burned them up a little bit too quick at the beginning, but he was able to gather it all back and able to get back up towards the front of the field towards the end of the stage. And it seems as though he wants to he's trying to save tires just a little bit more at the beginning of this stage here, Murph.
Yeah, he's looking to take care of a little bit more. Caution on the Speedway. Brian Sharp, big hit for Sharp from the number 1 of Ted Craven. He gets popped by Randy Dunlap. Brian Sharp with a huge Huge wreck at lap number 52 of 200. There's the contact right there. Andrew Green sends him around. Green gets through. Sharp going to back it in the fence, but this is a hit. Well, Michael Kirk tags him, and then nowhere for Ted Craven to go, knocks him up to the outside. Randy Dunlap gets involved. Heavy damage to Ted Craven. That is going to end his evening. And that's, that's kind of the nature of this beast. Caleb, we'll right on board with the teddy bear. My goodness gracious, this is a hit.
Yeah, absolutely massive there, Murph. Absolutely massive.
And you can see the accident happen in front of him, and here's the problem, right? Ted knows this is coming, but then the contact between Michael Kirk and Brian Sharp sends Sharp back up the track, and there's just nowhere for Craven to go. Massive impact for Ted Craven. Crazily enough, Brian Sharp didn't even get the meatball out of that, Caleb. He's on the pit lane. Dunlap and Craven, because of the front end contact, got it. Sharp, though, his contact was to the rear and to the side, and so he's just on pit lane for optional repair.
What's crazy is that his car was crab walking coming to the pit lane too. So kind of very surprised he did not get a meatball from that.
For those of you who don't know at home, you may be new to iRacing. The meatball, which you must respect, Caleb. Brendan, the Hyperstar has taught us that, right? You must respect the meatball.
He's got merch on that, Murph. He's got merch with the respect the meatball now.
I need to buy one of those because you do have to respect the meatball. So the meatball is a black flag with an orange disc in the middle, and that means that your car is too heavily damaged to continue. You must report to the pit lane for repair, and you're going to be required to do a certain amount of repair before you can go back onto the racing surface. And usually when you get that means that means you're more or less out of the race. It is very rare for somebody to get a meatball flag and be able to come back out and be competitive. Certainly they are fixable sometimes, but it is very rare for a car to be competitive after you get one of those. In an open wheel car, for example, a meatball means you're done. It doesn't mean the car won't be capable of rolling, but it does mean that you have to come to the pit lane to fix whatever damage there is, and you can't continue until you do clear the damage. And so that's what that means for anybody who is not familiar with iRacing, doesn't understand what we're talking about with respect to the meatball. And tell Brendan to send me a shirt.
Well, he'll be there at Indy, so maybe I can convince him to bring or order one for you and bring it to you.
That would be amazing customer service. Trevor Ryan leads them back to green. 55 of 200 are about to be complete.
Green.
We'll get the green flag at 56. Trevor Ryan gets the jump. Ryan O'Donohue gets alongside Riley Lean for second.
Yes, he does. Ryan O'Donohue holding that bottom line. Riley Lean kind of filing back into single file racing. Ryan O'Donohue got a really good launch, but Riley Lean back up the inside of Ryan O'Donohue and is able to get that position back immediately. Now he's got Kendall Paul over his rear bumper. James Hodgson a little bit further back, a little bit 2x2 side-by-side action right behind Sam Kerr. That is Crash Neon and Joshua Zorn going side-by-side. And now Christian Light to Joshua Zorn's outside. He's going to try to make the outside work going into 3 and 4. Troy Carricker is going to try to follow him as well.
Yeah, Troy Carricker is going to try to come back on that outside. Carricker is going to make that move stick. Troy Carricker is going to go to 9th, move Joshua Zorn back to 10th. Do want to kind of point out, say hey Lewis Hayes. We're going to get back here and have a look at that Grease Monkey special. We'll zoom in on the front of it. It is rumpled, it's bruised, it's beaten, it's battered, but it's still out there. It's still circulating. There's Say Lewis Hayes in the 16th spot. And the more yellows that come out, the better off Say Lewis Hayes is. He fixed another 37 seconds the last time through. You just hope he's not changing tires with every one of those stops, Caleb.
Absolutely terrible to go through all your set of tires accidentally, but not unchecking it in the black box. But he's getting the damage repaired, which is the most important thing. And so theoretically, he's probably just playing it safe now, at least until the next caution, which is going to be at least lap number 90. So he knows he'll have another caution and get more of that damage repaired. So day is not done for him.
No, it's not. Say Lewis Hayes still in it with a chip and a chair. Kendall Paul looking on the back of Ryan O'Donoghue. And remember, we saw in the first stage, Kendall Paul was much, much quicker than Ryan Lean and O'Donoghue at the end of that first stage. Had it not been cut short by a yellow light, I would have predicted that Kendall Paul would have had something to say for the win of that stage. We've got Justin Osterman checking in. Says it's been an unlucky season so far, and sometimes that happens. You get another shot at it next week. This series next week, by the way, is at another. This series next week, by the way, is at Charlotte, and so we'll be at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Oval next week. 8:20 pre-race, 8:35 start. Caleb, for that one. Everybody's pretty tame. There's a battle between Christian Light and Troy Carricker. This is for the 8th spot. They've got Franco Alvarez. He's also been involved in a fracas or two, but he's got that 41 fix, and Franco Alvarez started to come to the front, Caleb.
Yeah, Franco Alvarez, he's shown a lot of speed here in the AMA Grand National Series, but he hasn't been able to capitalize on the opportunities that have been given to him. And even today, he started in the 19th position. He ended up getting an X or a 0X on his second go lap, but he was still able to put his first lap in the 19th position, and he's just been trying to climb his way back up towards the front here. He finds himself just inside the top 10, so he is on a march towards the front, but he knows he could be a lot better over the course of this race.
He does. Franco Alvarez now pulls up on the back of Christian Light, and Joshua Zorn has entered the picture, so too David Dunwoody. So really we've got a 4-way fight or a 5-way fight from 8th back to 12th, and that is really pretty much the best racing on the track. We're going to flop right back up front because Ryan O'Donoghue is starting to wear out the back of Riley Lean real quick, so we'll kind of keep an eye on these two battles. We'll get up in the P1 airship, and you can see from here the big runs that Ryan O'Donoghue gets off of these corners, Caleb. He pulls to within half a car length of Riley Lean on corner entry. He loses, or on exit, at the end of a straightaway rather. He loses a little bit on entry in the middle, but he's back to the gas a lot quicker, and he's developing these massive runs.
Yeah, he's just setting it up just to get as much power on exit as he can. Try to carry as much speed as possible. That way he's able to get a fender alongside going into the next corner. He's trying to set up the pass now. Every single time he goes either into one or into turn 3, and you can see him kind of fading high in the middle of the apex, then cutting down hard. And he's got a run on Riley Lean now. He looks up the inside going to turn number 1. Kind of there he is alongside now. They got the lap cars. Lewis Hayes getting very, very tight and dicey there, but he's got to slot back into 3rd here. Riley Lean able to hold on.
He is. Now for Say Lewis Hayes, he's wanting the caution. He's now a lap down, and he is about 14 seconds ahead of Mark Padgett. The problem for Lewis Hayes is he is about 3 seconds a lap slower than Padgett. So Say Lewis Hayes might be in a little bit of trouble here. We're watching the battle for second. It is Ryan O'Donoghue on the bottom, Riley Lean on the top. They've got Michael Kirk, the lap car, in front of them. They're going to split him with O'Donoghue.
Was expecting a bit of a Michael Schumacher or a Mika Häkkinen, a Michael Schumacher moment there, Murph, but thankfully it didn't have to come to that. But Ryan O'Donohue still not able to get around Riley Lean. A bit of lap traffic has kind of aided Riley just a little bit and able to defend off O'Donohue. And now that's allowed Kendall Paul to enter in the picture here.
It has. Your call there reminded me of the famous Murray Walker call at the Monaco Grand Prix in the early '90s or the early 2000s. Michael Schumacher leading the Grand Prix of Monaco came upon the Minardi of Zolt Baumgartner, and Murray Walker famously exclaimed, "Traffic ahead! It's Zolt! They're going into the tunnel!" And then he let out this guttural yell, and Schumacher came out of the tunnel first. Zolt Baumgartner came out of the tunnel backwards.
A bit of F1 history there, Murph, in which I probably wasn't even born yet when that happened.
You know, I'm trying to remember when Zolt Baumgartner was actually driving. It would have been, good golly, it would have been
years. It's a long time, Murph.
It would have been 2004. 2004, teamed with Gianni Bruni. Was the team, and Minardi, if you recall back then, Caleb, they would scrape for money. Both of those drivers paid for their seats handsomely. Although Baumgartner did score a point, he had an 8th at the United States Grand Prix. The next year, they had Patrick Friesacker, Robert Dornbos, and Christian Albers. All three of those drivers paid. The year before that, though, 2003, Justin Wilson and Jos Verstappen wheeled the Minardi, and so, you know, they would try to field competitive drivers that they could. Mark Webber drove for him. Fernando Alonso. Drove for Minardi. Giancarlo Fisichella drove for Minardi. Michele Alboreto took time at Minardi. Christian Fittipaldi, IndyCar regular, drove for him. But then, you know, for every competitive driver, you'll look through that list and you'll see Tarso Marquez or Ukio Katayama, who was at the tail end of his career. Shinji Nakano of car slide fame when he got to the United States. It was those were interesting times, Caleb. Interesting times.
Yes, it is indeed. What's also interesting, back onto the race, Ryan O'Donohue briefly had Kendall Paul to his inside going through turns 3 and 4. They kind of go in single file, and they've kind of maintained that gap to Trevor Ryan in front. But look who has also introduced himself into this battle is James Hodgson. So we got a 4-way battle for the second place position here. Riley Lean leading them. Ryan O'Donohue right behind him. He looks around the outside. They got a lap car on the high side. He's able to get out of the way of the first 3 cars at least.
Hard in the wall.
Hard in the wall.
Hard in the wall. They've got Say Lewis Hayes in front of him. That's going to slow O'Donohue's progress. But Riley Lean smacked the wall. That's going to cost him second. Hayes will let everybody through, and you can see the 4 contenders for that second spot in the camera shot now. It's worth reporting Franco Alvarez has cleared Joshua Zorn and has made it up to the 9th spot. There's Franco Alvarez. The next car ahead for him would be Crash Neon. That's about 0.7 of a second. But the best battle here is this one. Ryan O'Donohue has now escaped Riley Lean, and we knew he was a lot quicker. And now Kendall Paul has pulled up on the back of the number 26. He'll do battle for 3rd.
Yeah, Riley Lean showing a bit of signs of tire wear at this point in the stage. He's only had to go 8 more laps at the line. Kendall Paul and Brian O'Donohue, as a matter of fact, really using that high line to their advantage, and you see them cut down really hard on corner exit, and that allows them to get a run. As you see here with Kendall Paul, he's able to get alongside Riley Lean. He looks up the inside going through turns number 1 and 2 onto the back straightaway. They're still side by side. Kendall Paul, bit of contact as they go into turn number 3. Kendo's got the lead. Riley Lean almost into the wall on the outside, but able to keep control of it. Kendo Paul slots himself back up into third, and James Hodgson has now got a run.
Yeah, Kendall Paul leaned on Riley Lean just a little bit, moved him up the hill, and that allowed Kendall to go by. But I think the good is gone from the good years on Riley Lean because he is rapidly losing time to James Hodgson behind him, and Hodgson's going to have about 6 laps to figure out if he can make a move on Riley Lean. By the way, just for future reference, the lap times have fallen off over the course of a full run about 2 seconds in 40 laps or so. So put that in the back of your mind, Caleb. 2 seconds over 40 laps is what they're losing in terms of time on old tires.
Yeah, and you typically always get that at every single track. It is about, at least at these mile to mile and a half, about 1.5 to 2 second difference on a really worn set versus a brand new fresh set of tires on these Goodyears. So you typically do see that a lot of the time. And at Dover here, it's 2 seconds on about 40 lap old tires. And you're starting to see who is able to manage their stuff off the best. And that's one thing we always see. There's always going to be a significant tire wear here in the AMA, in these stock cars, just with how the tire is built. And it's always about how these guys are able to manage these tires. And you're starting to see Riley Lean fall back through the field because maybe he has a little bit more worn tires. He's been pushing it a little bit too hard early on in the running.
He has, and that's why I love this blimp shot. You can visually see the difference for James Hodgson over Riley Lean and the tire differential as we come down to get 2 laps to go in the stage. But Lean has now caught back up to Kendall Paul more or less. We've got 2 laps to go in the stage. Remember, the caution will trigger with the 10th place car. Right now, that's Joshua Zorn. Zorn is locked in a battle with Franco Alvarez and Rick Fallas along with Crash Neon. So 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th in your picture right there. And we'll see how this plays out. Alvarez is going to move to the high side of Crash Neon or try, and that's going to open up the bottom for Joshua Zorn.
Yeah, Joshua Zorn, just kind of watching these two go to work here. Franco Alvarez looking up the inside of Crash Neon. They do have a lap car on the high side. Does that affect Crash Neon's exit? Oh, big contact. Crash Neon gets loose. And Crash Neon goes around.
Right, man,
caution is out. That's going to be the stage. Crash Neon, contact with Franco Alvarez. Caution on the Speedway. I don't think he hit the wall. I think he just bounced off a couple of other cars. You see some damage to the right rear of that machine. That was a wild ride and a wild save for Crash Neon to end Blackmagic Studios stage number 2. Here you see it. You got Andrew Gates to the high side. And that wasn't the trigger of the crash, though. Franco Alvarez kind of lost the nose a little bit, came up off the bottom. Contact is made. More contact is made. And then there's the damage on the back of Neon. Andrew Gates gets into him. Then Alan Steigerwalt kind of spins it to the high side. I don't think Steigerwalt hit anything either. Let's get back and look from the onboard. This is going to be an error. Watch his hands here, Caleb. Watch Neon's hand. This is wild. So there's Crash Neon. He goes through. He gets under Gates. There's the contact. And now he's sawing on the wheel for dear life, Caleb.
Yeah, just not able to completely save it there, but able to keep it majority of it out of the wall. So That's the most important part. So he doesn't have too much damage that he's going to have to repair here with the incident there.
You know, I thought he might have saved it had it not been for the contact with Andrew Gates the second time. I thought Crash Neon might have saved the automobile. We are coming off of the pit lane to end Blackmagic Studios stage number 2. Blackmagic Studios are a small operation dedicated to high-quality iRacing paints and wraps for any car. You can visit them on Discord or Facebook for your next high-quality iRacing paint, and I can vouch for that when you see me on the track. In the number 69 Indy Alliance Dallara, it is a Blackmagic Studios paint. Not Caleb Brashear, though. You make your own, right?
I do make my own. I put some gold wings on mine, Murph.
I know. I really need to meet up with Dunwoody and get that done. Maybe I'll finally put gold hubcaps on it for Sunday.
Well, maybe, maybe you take on the paint scheme business a little bit yourself. Or you just get Dunwoody to do it. He does a fantastic job with his wraps, and all of his vehicles always look very good here.
They do. You do not want me painting, drawing, or in any other way
use
being
crayons, Murph.
I would probably eat them. You do not want me in any way being artistic, Caleb. A stick figure is about as far as I go. Although, to be fair, in like the 4th or 5th grade, we had to build toothpick sculptures in art class in grade school, and I made the biggest one in my class. You ever try to do that?
No, not really.
So what you do is you take toothpicks and super glue, and you try to make a tower out of super glue and toothpicks together in geometric shapes. It's quite challenging. Anyway, we're going to get, mine was, I don't know, I think I got 18 inches tall. We'll get back to green flag action. Trevor Ryan, Ryan O'Donohue lead him back, and this is the start of stage number 3. Everybody came to pit road. Everybody got new tires. The critical question is, how long are drivers going to stop? Say, Lewis.
Oh, big hit! Oh, it's going to be...
All right, man, caution is out.
That's a
Caution
huge
is
hit.
out.
That is a huge hit. It was Troy Carricker and the old Crow, Sam Crow, and it was a massive impact for both those cars. We caught it out of the corner of the camera lens. There's Troy Carricker. He's got Sam Crow to the inside, and I bet they're just, well, Carricker walloped the wall coming off of turn 2. There's the hit, and it's a Dover thing. Comes off the wall, hits the wall, bounces down in front. Sam Crow with a big lick from Christian Light. Crash Neon also involved right there. He hits Donald Green. Neon, Carricker, Light, Say Hey Lewis Hayes, and the teddy bear, Ted Craven. Craven is on the pit lane, but we've got 4 new meatballs from this accident, and there's Donald Green. We're going to watch what happened to him because he's racing along with Light and Neon. And this is kind of the accident after the accident, Caleb. There you see Crow and Carricker go off at the bottom of your screen. They're going to come back up the track. They're going to try to dodge low. Rick D gets through. Donald Green, a hard lick, does not. And then there's the damage for Crash Neon. He's been doing too many rectangles. Has crashed. He's probably grateful to go to bed. There's the hit for Green. Watch this. Bam. Right into the inside wall, straight in it. And then he's gonna get hit by Crash Neon right there. So caution back on the speedway one more time. 96 of 200 in the field. Really, Caleb, has started to thin out quite a bit.
Yeah, it is. We do have some permanent damage there for 3 drivers there. Christian Light, Troy Carricker, and Donald Green all blew their motor in that crash there. So we got 3 more confirmed retirements. Blown motors obviously not repairable here in the in the stock car side. So
Well,
it does appear though that Crash Neon and Christian Light do have repairable damage though.
well, Crash
Or
Neon
not
does.
Christian Light.
Yeah, Christian Light does not. He is taking the tow. Crash Neon drove his car back to the pit lane with the meatball, so there he sits, and he is just retired from the session. So Crash Neon will be out of this one. We lost 3 more cars from that. Neon Character and Green. We already had 6 out of the race with 1 more stuck on the pit lane. So bring the total number of retirements to 10 of the original 28 starters. And attrition has really become a thing here at Halfway, Caleb.
Yes, it is indeed, and that's typically how we always go about Dover. Dover is a very high attrition track, both in the sim side and in real life.
Yes, it was. Yes, it is. I mean, it's and again, it all comes down to how hard I think the impacts are here. There's no such thing as light contact at Dover. If you hit it here, you hit it hard, and it's you're not limping away from it. Green flag, back out. Trevor Ryan leads O'Donohue and Kendall Paul this time. Riley Lean dropped back to 6th. Or had dropped back to 6th. Kendall Paul is going to clear Ryan O'Donohue, and Kendall Paul is going to try to chase down Riley Lean here.
Yeah, he's going to try to chase down Trevor Ryan. Ryan O'Donohue still on the rear bumper, though, but he also has James Hodgson. Looks like James Hodgson is very racy on this restart. He has a look to the inside, thinks better of it. Meanwhile, right behind him, David Dunwoody and Riley Lean looking on the outside there. He got around Dunwoody. Now he looks on the outside. James Hodgson, he's got a really big run on the outside here. And now he's alongside Ryan O'Donohue. They're briefly 3 wide there, going through the middle of 3 and 4. Riley Lean on the outside of Ryan O'Donohue. He's up 3 places just in 1 lap here. Now, you did mention, Murph, he was back in that 6th place spot, but on the stage caution, he had some damage get repaired. So he actually restarted back in about the 12th and 13th spot on the stage restart to start stage number 3. But he is very, very racy. He's already back inside the top 3 and now looks up to the inside of Kendall Paul.
Make it second. Yeah, he had make it second for Riley. He had hit the wall at least twice. Had Riley Lean, and I think, for Kendall Paul or for Riley Lean, it was a matter of, I need to get this fixed. Perhaps there was some, perhaps that was playing into the handling problems we saw him have at the end of stage number 2. And so bite the bullet, get it fixed, and he is back charging toward the front. Just got to keep it out of the wall, Caleb.
Yeah, he is. He is the pole sitter of this race. Finds himself in second. He's been up at the front basically the entire day, besides the start of stage number 3 where he had to get that damage repaired. The guy right in front of him, Trevor Ryan, started in 4th, but he has basically, ever since the midway point of stage number 2, has basically led every single lap since then. So you basically have 2 of the fastest drivers in the 1-2 position. Ryan O'Donohue, who has also been pretty quick throughout the day, he's slid himself back into 4th, but I guarantee you he's probably thinking trying to have a tire advantage over a long course run and trying to save his tires a little bit here.
Yeah, and I think that's, you got different agendas. Riley Lean wants to get back to the front. Kendall Paul, we noted earlier how superior he was over the long run. Ryan O'Donohue may have learned that lesson. James Hodgson, also very much a driver who is a long run car. How about David Dunwoody, though? Dunwoody running along in the 6th spot. He's kept his nose clean, kept it out of trouble, kept that 28 out of the fence, and he's right on the back of the top 5 here.
Yes, he is indeed. I do want to point out that the top 2 drivers, out of the top 5 drivers, the only 2 of these drivers to win so far in this season is Kendall Paul. He won back at the Darlington race. Ryan O'Donohue and Trevor Ryan both have not won. Riley Lean, he has won a race. He actually won back in Phoenix. but James Hodgson also hasn't won a race yet this season. So out of the top 5 drivers, only 2 of them have actually won races here.
Yeah, and it's always, if you're James Hodgson, we'll go back and focus on him a minute. One of my favorite people in iRacing in general. One of my Rolex teammates, James Hodgson. He's an awesome guy, and you'd love to see him win a race. It's good to see him run good though. We talked. You had Justin Osterman talk about how it'd been a bad luck season. James Hodgson has had a lot of bad luck this season as well, and it's good to see him running up front in the top 5 and in general just being fast. It's worth mentioning too. We'll get back to the rest of the cars on the lead lap. Franco Alvarez just went past Joshua Zorn. That's for 7th spot. Moves Zorn back to 8th. Mark Paget is 9th in the State Water Heaters car, and 10th is Rick Fallis in the Marty Robbins Special. Those are the only 10 cars on the lead lap. We talked about attrition. Andrew Gates is a lap down. Say Hey Lewis Hayes is 2 down. Alan Steigerwalt still circulating 9 down. There are only 13 cars. Well, let's see. 14, 15. There are only 16 cars on the lead they're even circulating. Christopher Logan, and there's Christopher Logan in the 70. He's 17 laps down. He's still out there trying to pick up some spots. Brian Sharp, 32 laps down. He's kind of in the same boat. And Michael Kirk, 37 laps down. Now the reason those guys would still circulate is what, Caleb? Why would you stay out when you're 37 laps down?
Well, there's a lot of retirements out in front of him. If he's just able to get some laps put down here, he's going to gain some positions here no matter what. There are a lot of retirements. So every position counts. Every position is a point here. And a long championship that we have here in AMA, every point you can get now is always going to help you in the long run. As we get a battle, look at this battle for second place here. Kendall Ball on the inside. Ryan Donahue just behind both of them. And this is getting very, very close racing. They also got the lap car of Say Hey Lewis Hayes. How is that going to throw a wrench into this? Ryan O'Donoghue way on the inside. Looks up the inside, not able to quite get the move done. Riley Lean back down 2 positions, and now he's got James Hodgson all over his rear bumper.
He does. Ryan O'Donoghue gives Kendall Paul tap number 1 down the backstretch. So O'Donoghue wants to get back to that 2nd spot. That did bring James Hodgson into this battle. O'Donoghue basically used Say Hey Lewis Hayes as a pick, and now Riley Lean gets back by O'Donoghue. Hodgson not able to challenge, but the battle for second has been pretty wild thus far, and there they are.
Kendall Paul leading this first group. Trevor Ryan just completely building a gap over everybody else, has a 2-second advantage over the entire field at the moment. Meanwhile, 2nd through 5th are just going to war with each other. And I think...
Yeah, Trevor...
I think Franco Alvarez is also closing that gap a little bit. This could be a 7-car battle here, Murph.
Yeah, this is going to quickly turn into a 5-car fight because Franco Alvarez has gotten by David Dunwoody, and Franco Alvarez is coming. This is the only angle that I can get that shows all 4 of these cars in the frame is the blimp. So we'll switch in and out of that. Ryan O'Donoghue works it back to the bottom. He's going to try to get by Riley Lean one more time. Excuse me.
Yes, he is indeed. Looks up the inside, not able to quite get a fender there on Kendall Paul, but that allows Ryan O'Donoghue to look up the inside of Riley Lean. He's able to he's got a fender out front, but Riley Lean's got the high side momentum. But it looks like Ryan O'Donohue also has momentum going down backstretch and able to get that position and slot himself into third.
Riley Lean clocked the wall off of turn number 2 for the third time of the evening. That'll let Ryan O'Donohue slip into third. And now Riley Lean's got to deal with the forward-facing 88 of James Hodgson. Hodgson, though, I think is and you see Franco Alvarez starting to creep into the picture. He is faster than all of these drivers, 0.3 of a second that last lap. So he's going to be there pretty shortly. You wonder if James Hodgson's just kind of trying to play this cagey, save his stuff. You're gonna want to run here until I think probably about lap 150, wouldn't you think?
I imagine so. That puts you at a little bit of an overcut advantage. Have some fresher tires at the end there as we look on right in front. Ryan O'Donohue on the inside of Kendall Paul. They're going to go 3 wide through turns 3 and 4. Riley Lean on the inside. Ryan O'Donohue splits him in the middle and able to get past Kendall Paul. Kendall slots back behind Riley Lean. What a bit of hard racing there. And now that allows Franco Alvarez to join this pack for the second place battle.
It does. Meanwhile, Franco Alvarez has a massive run to the inside of Kendall Paul and James Hodgson. They just about went 3 wide. All it's going to net Alvarez is 1 spot. He gets around James Hodgson, so move Alvarez into 5th, but he is the car that's coming. He's going to pull right onto the rear deck lid of Kendall Paul. Lap 122 of 200 is on the board. We do want to thank everybody for tuning in. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel so that you can get in on all of the iRacing fun. And this is fun, Caleb. We're having fun, right? Franco Alvarez can't get the move on Kendall Paul. At least that time. I think it's a matter of time. Alvarez has been significantly quicker over the last several laps than all the cars he's racing around.
Yes, he is indeed. He's about at least 1/10 clear of Kendall Paul last time around. It seems like he is getting a bit held up though, but he's caught the rear of this pack here, and Kendall Paul is starting to fade away from the 2 cars in front of him. So Franco is trying to get around him, but he can't really do anything. Kendall holding the highish line and getting really good runs off the exit corner.
Franco Alvarez still all over the rear of Kendall Paul. Let's jump on board Franco Alvarez as they barrel down into turn number 1. He's going to get right to that back bumper. He just can't quite get it done.
No, he cannot. He will have to try a different line. He had St. Louis Hayes on the high side. All 3 of those cars had to try a different line there. Kendall getting a little bit into the wall there. Franco Alvarez he's trying to make that late apex work, but Kendall Paul is doing the exact same thing and is not able to get a fender alongside to try and make a pass on the outside or on the inside. It looks like he's closer than he was last time around, but again, Kendall just able to defend off that position there.
Yes, he has. Now he's going to make a big run to the inside of Kendall Paul. He's almost, and we'll get back to the blimp because it's going to show it a lot better. Franco Alvarez is charging the corners a lot deeper. He's running the car a lot deeper into the corners than is Kendall Paul. But that's sacrificing his exit. So he's able to draw a fender alongside on entry, but he can't make it stick all the way through the corner. And there you kind of see it. He got right to the rear bumper, but then he fades away as they go through the corner, and Kendall Paul just kind of drives away as they come off the corner.
Yeah, this is not ideal for either Alvarez or James Hodgson because they both seem to be quicker than Kendall Paul at the moment, but they just can't get alongside Franco. Closer than he's been previous laps there. He holding a very tight line on the bottom, but again, not able to get close enough. He might have a fender this time going through 3 and 4. He has a fender on the low side. He's side by side coming off the bottom of the corner, but again, not able to get the run onto the front straightaway to get the pass done.
He's driving so much deeper than Kendall Paul. And Kendall is leaving the bottom open for Franco Alvarez. Alvarez gets a little sideways coming off of turn number 2. And I got to believe Kendall Paul is going to let him go, knowing that they're going to, well, not so fast, my friend. They run side by side through turn number 4. Kendall Paul slaps the wall. It's almost as if Kendall is forcing him to use up his tires here, Caleb.
Yes, it is indeed. But the more he battles with Franco Alvarez, the more that's just going to wear his tires out. And honestly, the more they battle, the more it's just going to slow them down in general to the likes of Riley Lean or Ryan O'Donohue. And even the guys behind them like Joshua Zorn and Mark Paget, those guys have been turning some quick lap times recently. But again, Franco not able to get around Kendall. Kendall putting on a great defense over the likes of Franco and James Hodgson right behind him. And now, right as I say, Joshua Zorn has kind of introduced himself into the picture. He's been running lap times about 2 to 3 tenths quicker than the 3 cars in front of him.
Yeah, and that's what racing side by side here at Dover will do. You get slowed down quite a bit. You wear out your stuff. Here comes Joshua Zorn as Alvarez and Kendall Paul continue to go at it. Hammer and tong here. 133 of 200 are in the books for the Outland Custom Arms AMA National Police Week 200 here at the Monster Mile. It is the big Bristol, as Caleb Brashear likes to call it. And now Franco Alvarez, he got back, he cooled off his stuff a little bit. He's going to charge right back to the inside of Kendall Paul. This battle has been fast and it's been furious, Caleb.
Yes, it is indeed. Franco Alvarez loses a spot to James Hodgson. Hodgson working outside. Now let's see if he has anything for Kendall for the 4th place spot. Franco getting into the wall, a bit squirrely there. Now he's going to fall into the legs of Joshua Zorn right behind him. Zorn on that bottom side. And it looks like this entire pack is actually right behind him. It's closing massively up. Joshua Zorn, Mark Patrick, Rick Fallis, all right there with, catching our leader or our 4th place position at Kendall Paul. Kendall able to defend off everybody behind him, though. We'll see if James Hodgson has anything for him.
Yeah, and look, we've seen Franco Alvarez get really, really squirrely coming off of multiple corners now. He's loose coming off of turn number 2 there. I got to believe, as we say, Caleb, the good is gone from the good years, and Franco Alvarez is going to start dropping to the back of this field like a rock, but he's still got another 10 to 15 laps, really, before he even wants to pit. Fuel is not a concern here, but the tires most certainly are, and the longer you stay out, the worse it's going to get. Trevor Ryan, for example, big slide for Franco Alvarez. Let's get back on board. Let's get on board with Alvarez and show you what we're seeing. But to give you an example, Trevor Ryan last time 25.203. His best lap 23.5. So they're almost 2 seconds off now as we get toward the end of this run. The only driver that I've ever seen run a car like that here, Lionel Callisto from the ISRA series. I've seen him drive a truck like that with it all crossed up coming off the corner lap after lap. That's what Franco Alvarez is doing. That baby is not happy when he comes off the banking, Caleb.
See, that Goodyear rubber is not happy with him. They're very hot right now, and oh, we got a blinker in front. That was James Hodgson. He blinked out for a little bit there. He's back on track, though. No harm, no foul there. But Franco Alvarez, he's really used his tires up. He was trying to get around Kendall Paul as hard as he could, and now he's kind of worn his stuff off. He's still within earshot of James Hodgson and Kendall Paul out in front, but you can see as he slides through these corners that his tires are very much hurting, and now he has Joshua Zorn basically on his back bumper here, and Zorn is now trying to look for a way around Alvarez right in front of him.
He is. James Hodgson is pulled up to the back of Kendall Paul, and those two are slowly pulling in on this man. Remember that massive run that Riley Lean made early, drove around the outside from 6th on the restart to claim 2nd spot? Well, Ryan O'Donohue got by about 15 laps ago and has driven steadily away. Meanwhile, Riley Lean is losing time to Kendall Paul. Last time through, Lean 25, 398, 25, 198 for Kendall Paul. So 2/10 even for Kendall Paul on Riley Lean. Kendall Paul is coming toward the front now, Caleb.
Yes, he is. Kendall Paul is actually, well, that time around, he actually equaled Riley Lean that time around. Ryan O'Donohue, is about a tenth slower, and Trevor Ryan actually is gaining over everybody else. So Trevor Ryan is off in the distance right now. Kendall is faster, just barely over Riley Lean, and a little bit faster than O'Donohue at the moment. Let's see if it's the same story this time around, and he is actually a tenth faster than the both of them. So, and Riley Lean has caught Ryan O'Donohue right in front.
He has. Ryan O'Donohue has started to fall off the pace quite a bit as well. You saw the gap back to Kendall Paul. Now you're looking at Riley Lean set to do battle one more time with Ryan O'Donohue. Let's look out the front of Riley Lean. We'll ride shotgun as he attempts to get by Ryan O'Donohue. Trevor Ryan, though, is
All right,
gone.
man,
Caution.
Caution is out.
Caution on the Speedway, and that was right in the area where Trevor Ryan was running.
It did involve Trevor Ryan.
Contact with the 70 of Christopher Logan. Michael Kirk slaps the wall. He's going to come down across Trevor Ryan. He squeezes back up. I don't know exactly what that's all about. And then Trevor Ryan comes down the track. He gets out of the gas and gets hit by Christopher Logan. I think Logan more of an innocent bystander there. But I got to wonder, if you're and I don't mean to speak out of turn, you're the number 54, Michael Kirk. You're 37 laps off the pace. That's the leader. I don't know about that racing etiquette there. There's the wall, and here comes Ryan, and Michael Kirk just pulls back up in front of him, Caleb.
Yeah, just an unfortunate circumstance there. He does hit the wall, but at that point, he does have full control of the car on the back straightaway and just kind of messily pulls right back up in front of Trevor Ryan there. So we will see pit lane open this time. Leaders coming down pit lane. Trevor Ryan into his box. Ryan O'Donohue, Riley Lean all into their box. Now this is going to be a 50 laps or just over 50 laps here. On the set of tires, which is longer than the first two stages, but still you have to think about the tire wear here. Riley Lean down off the jacks there. He slots back into third. Ryan O'Donohue. The top three does not change. Neither Kendall Paul, James Hodgson, Joshua Zorn are your top six off of pit road.
Yeah, and Trevor Ryan either didn't have any damage or he decided he didn't want to get it fixed. So there's Trevor Ryan, 14.3 in the box. So whatever he got out of that, he didn't fix it. Ryan O'Donohue is going to line up second, and maybe he feels, you can see the back end kind of wrinkled on that 45 Chevrolet. Maybe he just feels like, hey, it's, I got hit in the back. It's not that big of a deal. I'm not going to worry about it. Ryan O'Donohue's got a clean race car. He's going to line up second. We know Riley Lean has been in the wall a few times, and he had an extra second in his pit box. That tells me that he wanted to get whatever it was straightened back out. Kendall Paul doesn't have a mark on his number 78 Ford Dark Horse Mustang. Neither does James Hodgson. And then you got Franco Alvarez, who spent most of the first two stages under repair. He is sixth. Joshua Zorn, Rick D. Fallas, 7th and 8th. David Dunwoody, 9th. Mark Padgett, 10th. Everybody else is several laps down. Say Lewis Hayes, 11th, 6 laps off the pace. Alan Steigerwalt, 9 laps down in 12th. And why do you stay in it? Christopher Logan is 13th, 18 laps down. Sam Crow 14th, 26 laps in arrears. Andrew Gates out of the race in 15th, but then Brian Sharp and Michael Kirk still circulating, so they can still gain a spot on Andrew Gates if they can stay out for another 3 and 8 laps respectively.
Green flag, green flag.
Green flag.
It is back out. Trevor Ryan gets out to the lead. Riley Lean slots himself back into his second place position. Ryan O'Donohue slots into third, and he's got Kendall Paul all over his rear bumper.
Rick Fowler's got really loose off of turn number 2, and he slid up and smacked the outside wall. So Rick Fowler's with a little bit of early wall banging in this one. He kept it straight, kept it moving in the right direction. As we file back into about a fight for the lead, Riley Lean, Trevor Ryan. Lean will go around the outside. And this is really the first time we've seen Trevor Ryan vulnerable. Now Ryan O'Donohue is going to try to take advantage. O'Donohue the inside of Trevor Ryan.
Yes, he is. Ryan O'Donohue gets a little bit squirrely. Trevor Ryan having a little bit of rear end damage. You can see that rear bumper is folded in on that left rear panel. And now he is dropping places. I wonder if he's got just a little bit more than just some fiberglass, some composite body that just bent in there. A little bit of sheet metal work as well. So, and he's probably got some suspension damage, him falling back this early on, whereas the rest of stage number 2 and even the first portion of stage number 3, he kind of took off right on the start there.
You know, I'm kind of looking at that. Number 45 machine, and we're gonna get on the rear bumper of Ryan O'Donohue. Of course, Trevor Ryan has started to fade into the distance, so you can't really see it. But if you look at the hood of that number 45, you can kind of see a crease in the hood, the hood, the fender, and the front bumper. That means that part of the vehicle is messed up a little bit too. You don't see that same crease on Ryan O'Donohue. You don't see it on Kendall Paul. And so maybe there's some frontal aero damage as well. It's just slowing him up just that little bit, Caleb.
Yes, it is. He doesn't seem to be falling completely back, but then you also got to think how much he is pushing these tires at the moment. Was he trying to save there at the beginning, just trying to get a feel of if the car is damaged to a significant amount, or if he's just trying to save tires early on? But it seems like he is back on the tail end of Ryan O'Donohue for second place. Let's see if he's able to get around him. He gets really tight on entry, gets a little bit high on the apex, gets a nice run on the exit corner, slides a little bit. That's not going to help him a little bit. He falls back about 1 to 2 car lengths behind Ryan O'Donohue, as O'Donohue is actually gained on Riley Lean out in front.
Ryan O'Donohue is coming back toward Riley Lean for the lead of this race. Franco Alvarez, by the way, has fallen to be the final car on the lead lap. He is about a second and a half off the pace. Ryan O'Donohue is on the pace. He drops to the bottom of Riley Lean. Can Ryan O'Donohue take the lead in the Battle of the R's? And Lean hits the outside wall again.
Lean getting very, very close. O'Donohue looks up the inside, still not able to get the pass on Riley Lean, able to make that outside work and able to clear O'Donohue going down the front stretch. O'Donohue is going to have to yield back in second place at the moment, but he's got to defend from Trevor Ryan right behind him.
He most certainly is. Trevor Ryan, though, not close enough. Ryan O'Donohue can drop back in line, regroup, and rebuild for another challenge. 158 complete, coming to start 159. 42 laps left here at Dover. It's been a battle between the guys with their names. It's been the battle of the R's. Riley Lean, Ryan O'Donohue, Trevor Ryan, Kendall Paul is fourth, and he has started to sneak into this picture, Caleb.
Yes, he is the only driver with an R without an R in his name there, Murph. and he's in the top 4. And actually, James Hodgson doesn't have one either. So it's a battle. It's a battle of the R's in the top 3, and then you got Kendall Paul back in 4th. He's actually gaining on Trevor Ryan in front. Let's see if he's able to make a move to go into turn number 3. He yields for right now, but he is holding that bottom line, and you can see Ryan O'Donoghue and Trevor Ryan kind of right in that second lane and gain that late apex off the corners of both turns 4 and turns number 2.
They do. Riley Lean holds the lead. Ryan O'Donoghue is second, but Kendall Paul is now all over the back of Trevor Ryan, and Trevor Ryan has started to fade. Ryan now a second behind O'Donoghue and Lean. Kendall Paul would like to get by so that he doesn't lose touch with the leaders. Down to the inside drops Kendall Paul. Move Kendall Paul to 3rd. Put Trevor Ryan back to 4th.
Yeah, Trevor still possibly suffering from that damage from the incident, the last caution we had, and he led a majority of this race here today ever since the beginning of the second stage. The other driver was Riley Lean, and now he currently leads at the moment, but he's got a mirror full of Ryan O'Donoghue, and it looks like Ryan O'Donoghue is getting very, very racy at the moment here, Murph.
He is getting racy. Ryan O'Donoghue all over the back of Riley Lean. There we go. We got the camera on him. Ryan O'Donoghue drops to the inside in turn number 1. Can he make the move on Riley Lean for the lead?
He's got a fender. He's about halfway there. Riley Lean's got the high side, so he's got the exit of the corner. He's able to carry more momentum, and Ryan O'Donoghue is just going to have to slot back into second place and try to get another run on him.
He is, but remember the last, on several occasions now, Ryan O'Donoghue has got to the bottom of Riley Lean, and Lean has walloped the wall coming off of turn number 2. We'll see if that's the case this time. It is not. Riley Lean continues in the lead, but I got a feeling that this is more of a cat and mouse game. It's Ryan O'Donoghue trying to wear Riley Lean's stuff out as we head into the last 35 laps of this race, Caleb.
That could be the case, but he's also got to think, well, if I'm going to go side by side with somebody, that's also going to slow me down as well, and wear my tires out in the process as well. So the more they battle side by side, the more they're just going to wear their stuff out and introduce the likes of Kendall Paul, who has already caught the back of them. He's about 4 to 5 car lengths behind the front 2 at the moment. And the more Ryan and Riley Lean battle, and if Kendall Paul gets introduced to the picture, that will allow James Hodgson, who has gotten around Trevor Ryan, to show up in this battle for the top place on the of the podium here.
Yeah, Kendall Paul is faster than Ryan O'Donoghue. He is marginally faster than Riley Lean, and James Hodgson in the forward-facing 88 is faster than all 3. Riley Lean is your leader as we get down time to talk turkey. The pit stops are done. Barring a caution, and they should have one set of tires. Well, they don't have a set of tires left, do they, Caleb? So barring a caution where somebody has saved a set of tires late in this one, what they got is what they got. And we're going to see who can carry that all the way to the finish.
Yeah, and it could be a situation of guys just trying to save their stuff as much as possible at the moment. And if we get a late race caution, then they're able to move up forward as much as they can. It could be a strategy that we see from Trevor Ryan or James Hodgson, as well as Kendall Paul at the moment. He's been able to catch our front 2 leaders here with just over 30 laps to go, and has kind of just maintained a pace right now just to keep up with them. Meanwhile, the 2 right in front of him have been battling, trying to keep the lead away from one another. Ryan O'Donoghue trying to get around Riley Lean, but hasn't been able to make it stick. He's got a run going through this corner. He's barely got a fender on the outside, but let's see if he's able to get a good exit to try and make a run going into turn number 3.
Ryan O'Donoghue all over the back of Riley Lean, but he can't make the move as they go through 3 and 4. We'll jump on board Ryan O'Donoghue. He's got a big run coming down the front straight this time. Contact!
O'Donoghue on the outside there. A bit of contact, a bit of a block there from Riley Lean going down the front stretch. He hits the wall again. O'Donoghue is going to look up the inside. He goes side by side with Riley Lean. Riley Lean sending it really hard on the high side, and he's able to get more momentum going down the front stretch here. And that allows Kendall Paul to try and make a move on the outside of Ryan O'Donoghue.
And O'Donoghue's got to be saying, are you kidding me? I had the run, I had the pass for the lead made to get, Riley Lean throws the block, and now I'm third. But Kendall Paul with a charge to the front, and he'll go to work on the number 20, on the number 26 of Riley Lean. Move O'Donoghue back to third.
It does. O'Donoghue had a run on Riley Lean, but Lean throwing the block down the front stretch and is able to just hold on to that position. Now let's see if Kendall Paul has anything for him.
Let's see. Kendall Paul had been faster than both of those cars for a number of laps, but here's the other thing. We've got lap traffic that's going to play into this. Riley Lean is looking at Sam Crow, and I believe Michael Kirk in front of him. Sam Crow will move out of the way for the leaders. No, that's Say Lewis Hayes. That's Say Lewis Hayes in front of him. So Lewis Hayes undoubtedly will do the same. And they are not all that far from Franco Alvarez, who dropped way back. He is 17 seconds off the lead, so they're going to be catching him before the end of this thing too, Caleb.
Yes, they will indeed. Say Lewis Hayes got out of the way of the leaders. James Hodgson just got by him on the backstretch. And Hodgson has also closed this gap down to the front three here. Kendall Paul also he's got to run into turn number one. Thinks better of it. Tries the high side. He's going to cut down low on exit. Let's see if he's able to get a run going to turn number three. A little bit too far back. He hits the wall hard, though.
Yeah, Kendall Paul hit the wall, and that's going to allow Ryan O'Donoghue to try to make a move on the outside, but O'Donoghue can't quite get there, and so O'Donoghue is going to be forced to settle back into the third spot. The longer this goes, I've got to feel like the more the advantage swings into Kendall Paul's favor. He's been very patient throughout this race. He let both stages come to him, and now he's got a crack at the leader, but he's also got a crack at going back to third because here comes Ryan O'Donoghue.
Yeah, this is really what Riley Lean wants. All this battling happen for the second place position behind him. The more they wear their stuff out, the less likely they are able to catch him in the end. Riley Lean able to pull out just a little bit. Ryan O'Donoghue's looking up the inside of Kendall Paul. He's got a run going into turn number three. He's barely cleared Kendall on the high side. Ryan O'Donoghue slots himself back into second.
He does. But they have critically lost contact with Riley Lean. All this battling has let Riley Lean get about 0.7 of a second up the road, and with his known propensity here to burn the tires off in the last 20 laps, that advantage is music to Riley Lean's ears because it gives him a chance, one, just to kind of run the laps, but he can cool his stuff off. He can kind of save his stuff and get going on down the road. We do want to thank everybody for joining in. You are watching the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series live here on P1. We're headed into the final stages of 200 laps at Dover for the National Police Week 200. If you haven't already done it, make sure you hit the like button on the video, ring the bell, subscribe to the channel. And we're getting about time to talk about chicken wings, Caleb. Who you got here? Do you think Kendall Paul, Ryan O'Donoghue can run him down? And if it's Kendall Paul to the bottom, is it O'Donoghue or Kendall that would be the better suited to do it, do you think?
Well, originally I thought it'd be Ryan O'Donoghue. The fact that he was able to get around Kendall again, but it seems like Riley Lean is just faster than both of them at the moment.
At the moment, Well, at the moment, yes, but here's the catch to that. Paul and O'Donoghue have been battling tooth and nail for about the last 15 laps, and that's let Riley lean, and there you see him kind of get away. They are going to catch Franco Alvarez within the next 10 laps, so they're going to have lap traffic before this whole thing is over, just to kind of make sure we're staying on top of that. But it's been
Ryan O'Donoghue dropped the place to James Hodgson, and I think Ryan O'Donoghue has cooked his stuff here, Murph.
Yeah, we just saw that in the background. James Hodgson gets through Ryan O'Donoghue into the third spot, move O'Donoghue back to fourth. Joshua Zorn has moved himself into the fifth spot. That would be a fine top five for Joshua Zorn. Mark Paget has persevered into sixth. That's Mark Paget. Rick Fallas is seventh. Fine night for Rick D. Trevor Ryan has fallen all the way back to eighth. David Dunwoody is ninth. Franco Alvarez 10th, and that is the remainder of the lead lap. Riley Lean still leads it, but Kendall Paul is coming. 2/10 that last lap, Caleb.
Yeah, he is closing that gap immensely. Meanwhile, Ryan O'Donoghue is going the opposite direction. It makes me think if he's just trying to hang on for dear life. And honestly, he's got Joshua Zorn right on his tail. Joshua Zorn is running the same lap times as Kendall Paul out in front. He's doing 25.1s at the moment. The car right in front of him, Ryan O'Donoghue, is doing 25.5. So O'Donoghue, he's cooked his stuff here, Murph.
Yeah, O'Donoghue now is 4/10 a second off the pace, and he is falling rapidly into the clutches of Joshua Zorn as Riley Lean still leads it. We'll flip back to O'Donoghue because the lead is more or less stable. Kendall Paul is still closing, but not at the rapid rate he was. O'Donoghue high, that lets Joshua Zorn go through. Next up would be Mark Paget. Now, Paget is working with that DVD Motorsports team, and so those guys are in contact. Paget will go through, and Rick Fallas is going to be next. Now, Fallas also working with them. I don't know that Trevor Ryan is going to be able to get there. If he does, it'll be right at the flag. Trevor Ryan is something like 3.5 seconds back, but Rick D. Fallas might have a shot. Up front, it's still Riley Lean. 10 laps to go here at Dover. Riley Lean leads it. He's going to jump under Michael Kirk. And look, Kendall Paul is coming, but he's not coming quick enough, Caleb.
No, he is not. In fact, he was actually barely slower last time around than Riley Lean. Riley Lean is setting his sights off in the distance. Kendall Paul has the outside on Michael Kirk, able to get it before the apex of the corner. James Hodgson not so lucky there. And James Hodgson is around.
All right, man. Caution
Yellow
is out. Caution is out.
Flag. James Hodgson around. Joshua Zorn backs it into the fence at the end. You've got Mark Paget with a meatball, and this changes, well, everything. Here we go. James Hodgson, forward facing 88. There he is. He's going around Michael Kirk. And there's contact between Michael Kirk and for reference, Michael Kirk is 39 laps down. Contact between Hodgson hard into the fence. And then Joshua Zorn gets involved as well. He backs it into the fence. We'll see what happened to Zorn here. Kirk was slow. Zorn slows up and gets tagged by the 22 of Mark Paget. Now, Paget is third on the pylon, but he's got the meatball, Caleb. He's going to have to come into the pit lane.
Yeah, just fortunate circumstance, especially with less than 10 laps to go. Fortunately, he won't lose positions to any lap cars at the moment. Alan Steigerwald is 16 laps down, so he won't lose any places past Franco Alvarez at the moment, but just very, very unfortunate there for Mark Padgett. He had a very, very strong run, and looked like with the pace he was setting, he possibly could have gotten himself inside the top 5 here.
Yeah, and you know, you've got to question the wisdom one more time of a car, 39 laps down. Same car made contact with Trevor Ryan earlier in the race. Ryan had a big lead, brought out the caution, damaged his car. Ryan now running in the 6th spot. Same car makes contact with James Hodgson, running handsomely on the podium. Caution comes out. You've got to kind of wonder the wisdom 39 laps down of racing the leaders with that much aggression, Caleb. Either way, it's happened, and now Riley Lean and Kendall Paul, Ryan O'Donohue are going to be in direct contact. All that accident did was shuffle the order such that O'Donohue is back in the 3rd spot.
And this is gonna be a dogfight, Murph. 5 laps to go.
It is, and give a call down to Rick D. Fallis too. Rick D. has been quiet this entire. Rick D. has been quiet this entire race. We haven't called his name much. He started 11th. He currently sits 4th, and that's a guy that he's a very cool and very cagey veteran. Rick Fallis might have a chance to take home a win here.
Let me look at the previous lap times for Rick Fallis, compare them to our leaders. The last green flag lap, 25-1 Rick Fallis ran before the caution came out. We compared that to Riley Lean, 25-2, just below a 25-3 for Riley Lean. So Rick Fallis is running faster than all of our leaders at the moment. He's on the outside of row number 2.
He is. We're going to get the green flag this time by. We're going to jump up in the blimp and show you the bird's eye view. We're going to get 5 laps to go, 5 miles to decide it. Green is out. Riley Lean gets the jump. Fallis in the wall. They're rubbing back there in the back for 4th. The top 3 get away clean. I don't see anybody around in the back. James Hodgson has gotten back into the 4th spot. Kendall Paul is coming on the high side on Donahue.
Yes, he is indeed. Kendall Paul able to clear O'Donohue that time by, but O'Donohue tries to look up the inside going through 3 and 4. Kendall's got the run on the front straightaway, able to clear, but they are 2 by 2 by 2 all the way back, basically from 4th to 9th there. That pack is very, very close together at the moment, as James Hodgson leading that pack at the moment. Franco Alvarez has moved himself into the 5th place spot. He's trying to look around the outside. James Hodgson on the high side. Gotta have spin. Hard in the car. Hard in the wall.
Dunwoody, Rick Fallis hard in the wall, and that is going to bring out, that is going to give us a green-white checker. David Dunwoody, he saved it for a good long while, but he couldn't hold on, and eventually Rick D is the victim. Watch this. Dunwoody, well, he had some help. Trevor Ryan gets in the back of Dunwoody. Dunwoody saves it, and then it hooks up and goes right, and Fallis is unfortunately right there. And now Fallis and Mark Padgett one more time with the meatball. Padgett, trying to figure out what happened to Mark Padgett there. He had just fixed, no, he's 2 laps down. So Dunwoody is good on damage. Rick Fallis, though, has the meatball. He'll have to come in and address that. He can finish no worse than 9th in the race, because I don't think Mark Padgett is going to be able to get back out. So Fallis will come in. David Dunwoody will come in and get repair, and we're going to have a green-white checker here, Caleb.
What was the last race? I believe was Phoenix was the last green-white checker. Am I correct in saying that, Murph?
I want to say that sounds about right. Yes, sir.
Well, last race we had our overtime.
Riley Lean.
Riley Lean won that race. So this is going to be interesting. Can he make it back-to-back in overtimes here in the AMA Grand National Series?
We're about to find out. Kendall Paul is now second. It's all going to come down to how good of a restart Kendall Paul gets, right? If he's able to stay even Steven with Riley Lean, I got to believe that Kendall Paul can get this done. We know that he's been faster. We know that he's been catching Riley Lean, and we know that he's probably got a little bit better tires. The question is, he's restarting on the outside, and that's such a huge disadvantage. The saving grace for Kendall, though, is that third place Ryan O'Donoghue, we know that car's out of tires. We know James Hodgson's been involved in an incident. We know that Franco Alvarez has been involved in an incident. We know Trevor Ryan's been involved in an incident. So really, the only two clean cars here are the two at the front.
It's been a race of attrition here, Murph. It's been a race of attrition.
It most certainly has. We've only got 11 cars circulating, 8 on the lead lap. Rick Fallows remains on pit road, so too Mark Paget. They will not finish any worse than where they are. They cannot be passed by any of the cars that are still circulating. And none of the cars that are multiple laps down can pass each other, with the exception of Steigerwalt, Hayes, and Logan. If you're Sam Crow, Brian Sharp, Michael Kirk, you can't go any further forward. Michael Kirk has parked his car, but we'll see. Pace car is off. He has gone down onto pit road, as you do here at Dover. Riley Lean will lead him back to green. There's the green. Kendall Paul did not get a good start.
No, he did not, but Ryan O'Donoghue got a decent one. He goes into turn number 1. Kendall Paul looks on the outside there. He's able to get out in front, coming off the corner here, but that's a little bit too far back. Riley Lean has got a massive advantage coming to the white flag.
All Riley Lean wants to do is see these guys fight. He's going to come off at turn number 4. Barney's going to grab the white flag. Last lap at Dover.
Lean has a massive advantage. Kendall Paul into second. Meanwhile, right behind him, Franco Alvarez on the outside. Ryan O'Donoghue, he's able to get the position. What a comeback for Franco Alvarez there in the third place position. But meanwhile, Riley Lean out in front. He led most of this race. He's going to get the win here at Dover.
Checkered flag is out. The 11 intrepid drivers that made it across the line have finished 200 laps, 200 miles at Dover. And this is about to be, I'm sure, an exhausted Rogue Energy winning moment for Riley Lean. If you go to rogueenergy.com and you use promo code AMA24, you get 10% off of your order. That's rogueenergy.com. Use promo code AMA24 to get 10% off your order as Riley Lean lights them up here at Dover.
You got the donuts nailed down there, Murph.
I'll give these a 7.5 out of 10. Yeah,
those were pretty clean.
He's doing good. It's hard to get the donuts. It's hard to get the donuts right in a stock car. One, because you can't really move the bias as far forward as you need to. That's kind of why I like to nose up to the wall and just spin the rears until either the rear tires or the engine decides to let go. Anyway, Lean's gonna drive it around in reverse. He'll have the win, the flag, the trophy tonight. Riley Lean is your winner from Kendall Paul. Franco Alvarez is third. Ryan O'Donoghue hangs on to what I'm sure are tires that are down to the cords in fourth. Joshua Zorn brings it home fifth. James Hodgson, Trevor Ryan, David Dunwoody, the only remaining cars on the lead lap. Rick Fallis did not finish. He'll be classified 9th. Mark Padgett didn't finish either. He'll be classified as 10th. 11th, Alan Steigerwalt, Sahey Lewis Hayes, Christopher Logan, and Sam Crow in 14th, along with Brian Sharp in 15th, actually did cross the line under their own power. Michael Kirk, he parked it for the final restart. He's going to be 16th, 47 laps off the pace. Retired officially from the event, Andrew Gates, Crash Neon, Troy Carricker, and Christian Light through 20th. In 21st, Donald Green, Randy Dunlap 22nd, Ted Craven 23rd, Joshua Siegfried is going to come out of Dover with 24th, Justin Osterman, Mr. Excitement, Early Trouble, he'll bring it home 25th, John Hutchins, Colby Pierce, Eric Quarter through 28th, Raymond White will be credited with 29th. I am not going to get a finish. My apologies to the administration for the extra work, but that was the only way I could get into the session. So there you go.
Now the true question is, do you get points for that, Murph? I think you should get an honorary half point for that, for showing up.
An honorary half point.
We'll have to talk to Kendall, see if we can get you a participation half point. Honorary participation point there.
As long as I get the honorary participation trophy to put where all of my other participation trophies are, I don't think I'd mind that. Franco Alvarez is going to be the first in the interview room, and let's see if we can't rustle up Franco Alvarez here. Let me find the interview room. More critically, let me find my mouse. Franco Alvarez, you've got Murph, you've got Caleb Brashear in the P1 broadcasting booth. You got a copy?
I got you guys.
You had probably one of the more eventful days. You started 19th. You drove it up to the front. Got involved in a couple of messes. You fell as far back as 20th. You were in the lower half of the top 10 until the final set of cautions came out. You wind up third. How does that talk about your day and how you managed? I think you passed every car in the field twice.
You described it perfectly, Mark. It was such an eventful, such a hard race to manage. As I said, I made a mistake in quali. I had a lap time to start second. I started 19 because I kissed the wall, so it didn't count. Was making my way through the field slowly but surely. Got in an little incident in the front stretch where I got my car absolutely destroyed. I had more than 2 minutes of damage. As I said, I was making my way through the field again. I got involved in another accident, had to report the car again. Went from the back to the front. I was around 4th or 5th. And then that caution came out with like 55 laps to go. And I was like, if I go hard, I will finish 5th, 6th maybe. So I was like, let's drive slowly, just save my tires, I will finish 10th at worst. And if a caution comes out, I will have much fresher tires than everybody. The caution came out, and I was able to drive from 10th to 3rd in that last stint. So super happy to put the Mobil 1 Chevrolet on the podium for the second week in a row.
I can tell you're happy. Franco, and I'd be elated if I were you. Anytime you count out of Dover with a podium, that's like a win. Caleb, what do you have for Franco Alvarez tonight?
Well, one thing we saw at the front with the leaders is that it seemed to be very difficult to pass once the tires got older, as it seemed to be the guy in front could just defend the outside and just get a good run off the corner. Meanwhile, you were passing cars left and right. I guess, did you like, the inside better? Did the outside work better trying to get around people? How did you approach, the situations of trying to get around people?
Oh, you said it perfectly. The outside was much, much better for both defense and offense. And in my case, when I was driving through cars, I was either taking care of the right front or trying to force to use the right rear on corner entry. So I could use the right rear more and he be more loose during the long run. So that's why I was making so good moves at the end. But yeah, as I got to like 4th or 5th, I got stuck because I had no more tires. So it was super hard to pass. Track position was key. But nonetheless, being able to go to the back to the front like 3 times today, it's amazing. So yeah, super happy with the result.
Well, I'll tell you what, you were definitely worth the price of admission tonight. Franco, thank you so much for stopping in and stopping by. You know the drill by now. You get on the podium, P1, you get the mic, friends, family, sponsors, shout them out.
Thank you. I will say thank you to all my friends from La Banda de Longo. Thanks for the guys from my team, La Docta. As you guessed, they're Spanish, so and yeah, a big hug for the guys at the Discord that cheer for me, and I hope I can talk. I'll talk to you guys more often. It's fun being here in the top 3, so I hope I see you guys next week too.
Absolutely. Keep going fast and having fun, Franco. We'll see you at the next one.
Thank you guys. You're doing an amazing job. Thanks again.
You're more than welcome. That's Franco Alvarez. He will take home the bronze medal today. For the silver, we go to Kendall Paul. Kendall, you've got Murph, you've got Caleb Brashear in the P1 broadcasting booth. Your day wasn't nearly as eventful as Franco's. How much did you not want to see that caution come out in the middle of the final stage?
The caution that brought the green, white, checkered. Yeah, I did not want to see that one, not all one little bit, because I knew it was going to be a fight with O'Donoghue on a restart, and I was getting tight there in turn 1 and 2 with him on the inside, and that high line was just working just amazingly for the 78 Ford Mustang, and I think we had a shot at it, and that yellow came out, and through turn 2, that kind of what on the restart kind of made the bed for where we were going to finish. Just needed a salvage back up to second, but overall, really good day. I mean, started 7th tonight and got some decent stage points, and worked our way up to the top 3, and it was. Just got to say, I'm really glad to be up front and not have one of those eventful days, because I know how those days are, and they're not as fun as just being up towards the front and having a shot at it all night. And but yeah, overall, really happy with tonight.
Mr. Brashear?
Well, we saw the car in front. He was kind of, defending that outside line really, aggressively. And we try to see both you and O'Donoghue try to get around him, try to get runs off the corner. I guess, was there, with him defending the high side, was there any chance of getting around him on the bottom, or was it pretty much he had it locked up?
What car are we talking about? Sorry.
Riley leaning out front.
Yeah, and you had to get to the outside, it seemed like, because you got really tight on the bottom. At least what I got was really tight in the bottom, and I was just trying to get to his right rear, and I was hoping for that before that yellow, just get to his right rear, get around, and get a nice run, because it seemed like you even got, if you were equal or a little bit nose out in front on the outside, the bottom lane got really tight as well, and you could kind of predict it and get around him. But it was a lot about yet another aero race. It seemed like just getting your car in fresh air, and he did a really good job walking down the bottom lane there, and kind of just putting his car where this car needed to be. But yeah, it was a really tough place. Dover's always a tough place to pass.
Well, you did make passes, though, as tough as it was. You bring it home in second spot. Just like Franco, you know the drill, man. Friends, family, sponsors, shout them out. Nice run.
Yeah, I got to thank, like I always do, first and foremost, Archway Industrial Coatings, Sean Mott, Jason Southard, all those guys that are kind of helped me get that deal with Archway and be the premier sponsor of the American Motorsports Association. Can't thank him and their guys enough, and their owner of Archway enough for supporting this league and going on 2-3 years. And it's been a really great relationship to have, and to know that sponsorships are covered and everything's covered that way, it's a very big relief, and they've been just amazing to us, and can't wait to keep working with them throughout the years. And got to thank Randy Dunlap and the new sponsor, Outland and Custom Arms, and for jumping on board. They've been amazing to work with, and they make what's all possible today with the broadcast and even the league itself. So I can't thank them enough. And I got to thank all the contingent sponsors, Admin Box, Rogue Energy, Track Racer, Black Magic Studios, think I'm not missing anybody there. They help out in one shape or way with the league, so I can't thank them enough. And got to thank all the team over at Interstellar. Some rough days today. It was a race of nutrition, and I really hate to see some of the guys have some rough runs. And thought we're kind of getting the train back on the right direction, but the Monster Mile decides to throw a wrench into that. But I was really hoping James to be up in the third, or we were going to have a 2-3, or somehow get 2 cars in the top 3 one way or another. I was really excited about that. But like I said, it wasn't meant to be, but I got to thank them enough, and can't thank them enough. They've supported me through day one of this league. They want to join the team, and they've been amazing to work with. Really, really, really glad that I'm teammates with them. And got to thank all the contingent teams and that sort of stuff. And got to thank you guys up here in the booth for broadcasting, and got to thank my friends and family. And hopefully we'll be here tomorrow night, possibly get into pre-deployed for some storm chasing up in Nebraska. So we'll see what comes tomorrow.
We'll see indeed. We thank you so much, Kendall, for all that you do. Great league, great finish, great night, great job getting everybody in here. That was not an easy task. Congratulations on getting what amounted to 29 cars into a session that was not publicly viewable. So kudos to you for that, and keep going fast, having fun, buddy.
Yeah, thanks guys. Have a good night.
Yes, sir. That is Kendall Paul. He is second this evening. For the win, we're going to bring in Riley Lean. Riley, you've got Murphy, you've got Caleb Brashear in the P1 broadcasting booth. You won the last time there was a green-white checker. You kind of had to sweat this one, I think, a little bit more because Kendall Paul seemed to be a little bit quicker over the long haul. Was that the way you saw it?
Yeah, I'd say I'd fend those 2 guys off that were behind me a lot more than I'd say at Phoenix, where I kind of pulled away at the end. They were able to save their stuff a little better, get the lines a little bit better, but I had the track position, so yeah.
No, I mean it was a great run. The other thing that I have to ask is, did you get any damage from the shots you took off the wall? I think we saw you bounce off the turn 2 wall 3 or 4 times. Was the car ever damaged from that?
Yeah, at the end of stage 2, I think I've just like 4-wheel slid right into that turn 2 wall and got some front end damage and fixed it under. Luckily, it was pretty close to the end of the stage, so just fixed it under the yellow leading into stage 3, and then barely missed that wreck that was right in front of me.
Yes, indeed. Mr. Brashear.
Well, you already won once, so I can't ask you the same question. So we're going to go to the backup option of what's your favorite cereal?
I think I just got to go Honey Nut Cheerios, I think. Those are pretty good.
Enjoy them while you can eat them. I'm relegated to Special K these days, so enjoy them while you can. With that said, Riley, you get the win. You get the mic. Friends, family, sponsors. Go ahead, my man. You earned it.
Yeah, just my guys who were with me in the voice call during the race. Matthew Oplager, Jai Baxter, Alan Segerwalt, who was in this race. They were helping me through it, making some decisions. So shout out to them.
Absolutely, Riley. Thank you so much for stopping by, answering our silly questions. Keep going fast and having fun, buddy. We'll see you at the next one.
See ya.
Sir, that is Riley Lean. He's your winner tonight from Dover. And Caleb, it never fails, does it? It was an entertaining race by and by. I would have loved to have seen that sucker go green, though, just to see what would have happened if Kendall Paul had actually gotten there.
Yeah, it was a situation where I think the tires were starting to fade on both Kendall and Ryan O'Donoghue's machines, to where they were kind of just doing equal lap times with Riley Lean, with all the battling that not only those two were doing each other, but when they were just trying to get around Riley out in front and going side by side with him. But I would really like to see Nate just go green, and where we possibly got some green flag stops, because we were having a very, very good battle, even despite that. with guys, kind of wearing their tires a little bit faster than the others, pushing a little bit too hard. And we got some really, really good battles, basically from the second stage onwards, up until we got that caution about halfway through the third stage. And even then, we had great racing at the front of the field after that caution. So it was very good racing from the second stage onwards. First stage was kind of a bit chaotic, but you get those every once in a while. And yeah, I'd say it was a good one here, Murph.
It most certainly was. And if you want more good racing, keep it right here on P1 tomorrow night. 8:20 p.m. pre-race, 8:35 start. It's the AMA Archway Industrial Coatings Truck Series from right here at Dover. And then at 9 o'clock, a special P1 presentation. It's the 2026 iRacing.com Indianapolis 500 Open Top Split at 9. Time slot number 1, one of 2 that's being streamed by iRacing. On Sunday, it's the Vote of Indy Oval Series. Round 8 from Auto Club. That's the California Speedway at 8. Caleb and I will both be in that race, so if you want to see us drive, tune in at 8 o'clock Sunday night. Monday, the weekly schedule begins anew. The IndyCar Series Monday night top split from Adelaide, 8 o'clock, followed by the Indy Next Road Series Monday night top split at 10 from Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Canada. Tuesday night, it's the IndyCar Oval Series at 8:15 from Kansas Speedway. We'll have the Indy Next Oval Series top split at 9:30, and the nightcap Area 51 After Dark 9:30. And guess where they're at, Caleb? Dover. They are at Dover. We're going to see IndyCars at Dover on Tuesday. Wednesday, the Horizon IndyCar Series, the Indianapolis 500K. The Indianapolis 250. It's the Soaps 250 at 8 o'clock. Next Thursday night, we'll be right back here for the AMA Outland Custom Arms Grand National Series from Charlotte. And I've got a special announcement, Caleb. You ready for this?
Yep, let's hear it, Murph.
It is a go. The 2026 edition of the P1 600, June 13th, 2 p.m. 43 IndyCars, 600 kilometers at Michigan for 600 of my dollars. How about that?
It should be good.
I think you'll probably sign up for that one. I won't be in that race. I'll be in the booth. And that's where we'll leave it. We do want to thank everybody for joining in, having fun with us tonight. Crowd in the chat, awesome as always. Do want to thank the drivers on the track, but we got to really thank the people that make this possible. The military, the police, the firemen, the EMTs driving the ambulance, and Caleb, the nurse that unloads you when they get you there. From the bottom of my heart and the bottom of all of our hearts, we thank you all, and we will see you tomorrow night.